Great way to start the show indeed, DeMarco. Couldn't have said it better myself. Welcome, everyone, to the Renegade Realm Podcast, episode 21. Can everyone hear me? OBS had an update. If anyone knows what that means, it means F word. I don't know if I can cuss yet. Thank you all so much for being here. And I'm excited because we watched a thing happen. A very exciting thing for some people. A very not exciting thing for other people. But we'll find out who those people are. Stay tuned and find out. Get your ticket right now, punch it in, zip it up, and tie it down. I don't know what that means. But, hey, look who it is. Joined out of the crags of the Dunmer ruins, crawling from the steamy seams of Skyrim. I was trying to think of another S. Lexi, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Okay.
Nice and simple, yeah.
Nice and simple.
Yeah.
Long intro for a simple. I'm good.
Is there any possibility that? Oh my God, sorry about that. Is there any possibility that you have been playing anything other than Final Fantasy XIV? And if so, what is it?
Nothing.
Perfect.
Is there any? There's other games.
Oh shit! You're on the internet right now.
I didn't know there was other games.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we're about to learn about those other games soon. And look here, Big Daddy Mac. I'm not gonna bust your balls. I love your new logo. And how are you? Are you sleepy?
I'm good.
Are you tired? You ready to talk?
I'm
about
very
games?
tired. I'm tired, and yes, I'm ready to talk about the shit show that we had last weekend on Thursday. And yeah, we're here. So I don't know. I'm playing. If you want to know what I'm playing Eastern Exorcist, and I just started Ghost of Tsushima finally. And let me tell you something. That shit is badass. I've never played it. I've always watched videos of it, but like actually physically playing it is so much better. So,
bro.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm there.
Dude, that's awesome. I love Ghost of Tsushima. Is like it's one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I wish there was more like it. And something else I wish there was more like. DeMarco, how are you? Thank you for being here. Aw. What you been playing?
Why don't you guys just kiss already? Shit.
I'm good.
Perfect. All right. Great intro.
No, listen, I am I am so excited to talk about that amazing showcase that we had about a week ago and how stellar I thought it was. And also I had played, because I don't know if it was this or if it was on Lorefield, but I was talking about playing Planet of Lana at somewhere, and I did play Planet of Lana all in one sitting, and let me just tell you, it was amazing. It was one of my favorite 2023 games I've played this year. Absolutely stellar. Try it on Xbox Game Pass. Great experience. You won't regret it.
Yeah,
if you like 2D side scrollers.
That's another guy. I forgot that. I literally played it for like a half an hour, 45 minutes the other day before I went to bed. And the little bit I've played of it was like, it kind of I just love side scrollers. I love platformers. That's why I play Eastern Exorcist as a platformer, as a side scroller. I love it. And the little bit I've played of Planet of Lana is really, really worth it. So I agree with you. The little bit I have played of it, I can't wait to actually get more in depth of what's going on, because it kind of all happens so fast. So, but yeah, so I want to add on to your DeMarco thing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, great game. Not a perfect game. There's things that I would wish, but nothing that I would. It's a game where I look at it and I go, there's nothing about this that I would say they did this bad. This was wrong. This was bad. There's things I wish there were more of, but yeah, just all around, worth your time, worth your Game Pass download if you do it on Game Pass.
Shout out to Red Dem Panda, who just dropped a wonderful thing in chat. She says the showcase was so good, almost as good as a magical cancer-curing PS5 SSD. I thought that was a piece of bread. It's a coffin. Nice. I love that. I was like, what does bread have to do with death and Satan? Yeah, I actually checked out your stream a little bit, DeMarco. I didn't want to say anything because I was like, if he knows I'm here and then I have to leave immediately, he's gonna cry. So I didn't do that. But I did stop in, dropped a like, and left it on for a little bit. And you were like over the moon. I dropped in right when you were talking about how great the music was, which, by the way, is a magical, huge part of how any game can just change everything for you. A testament to that is how I went back and played Cyberpunk, turned off the music, went and spent about a week, not like consistently, but I built a playlist of about 30 songs that were very chill, very melancholic, synthwave 80s instrumental music. And I went and played Cyberpunk with that music on. It completely changes the entire game. I mean, it is like not even the same game, like with because the Cyberpunk music is very grungy and like, you know, it's not like Blade Runner and those long synths drawn out, you know what I mean? So yes, I love that. Who is this person? Sergeant Sentinel Gaming says, how's it going? It's going well, and thank you for being here. I don't know you, but I want to get to know you.
So I know him through Twitter. So that's
Great.
just kind of a click. That's just kind of a click thing. So yeah.
Thank you so much for joining. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, smack the like button, and you can smack me right in the butt someday if we meet in person. I'll let you do it. Only if you subscribe. But hey, so speaking of smacking and spanking things, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just go down the line of the things that we actually did enjoy instead of going down the line of the things that we don't have to go through every single thing that was at the showcase. So let's just start off with the things that we were most excited to see, and I don't want to go first because I'm already feeling the tangent rising.
I'll go first. I want to go first.
Go.
I'm gonna. Alan Wake 2. I just to me, that game just. Well, first of all, you're playing more than just Alan now. This time you're playing as it looks like a cop or something like that. And if you played the first one, or anybody has played the first one, the story was magnificent. The way they did the whole story is just great. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't played it, but man, that game to me looks like, I'm not going to say game of the year because that's there's so many good game of the years this year, so you can't put it in that category. But it's really close, and if it has a good story, you could possibly overjump a few games, you know. So that's my biggest I can't wait to play that. So that's my number one game from this showcase that I've seen. You know, we actually seen gameplay. A lot of CGI trailers, so it's kind of tough to judge some of them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Alan Wake looks cool.
Yeah, it's got definitely much more of a modern RE remake vibe to it. I saw just a little bit and I turned it off. I didn't want to see enough. I saw the part where he was walking through the building and it was super quiet and like a fucking giant giraffe deer man falls through the ceiling, and I was like, good. And that's all I needed to see. So really happy to see that it grabbed a lot of people. And DeMarco, have you played Alan Wake?
No, but hi Colt.
Cody Sweat! Play the noise, DeMarco.
What? Oh yes.
Cody Sweat,
oh god, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
There we go. Just for you, God. Thank you. I don't know why I'm thanking you, but thank you.
Alan Wake. I've never played Alan Wake. So the thing that I loved about the PlayStation Showcase, I could sum it up really, really well here, is that there were so many titles that I've never played before that now I look at and I go, oh, that looks sick. How'd I miss that one? Oh, that looks sick. How'd I miss that one? So there was, Alan Wake 2 was one of them. Final Fantasy 16 was another one where I just looked at that and went, wow, I'm finally going to play a Final Fantasy game. It took how many of the 16? There were spin-offs though, right? There was spin-offs. That's why I said how many. That's why I said how many.
There's been quite a few spin-offs, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said, so, so however many in total that there's been. And I'm like, I'm finally going to play Final Fantasy. Alan Wake was one of them. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah, don't forget the Delta part, yeah.
It's not Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. It's explicitly Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
What about Phantom Blade? Did you guys like the little bit they showed on that? Since we really just talked about Ghost of Tsushima before we went live, literally, so it reminds me of...
So Phantom Blade was another one where I didn't even know because it was Phantom Blade 0, so I didn't even know if it had, prequel. It looked like there were other ones, and I went, wow, this is cool.
So I was reading up into that. The studio that's making that, I'm trying to think who it is. Cruel Man Studios is actually a mobile studio. They make mobile games. They don't even make console games. And to me, that came to be a console game from a mobile studio is baffling how good it looks.
For someone who started off this show by saying, "Oh, how crappy of a show that was last week," I'm pretty excited.
No, there's about 5 good games in there. There's about 5 good games, and you pretty much named 2 of 3 of them. So
gotcha.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Phantom Blade 0 looks like, as I was describing it when I was showing that game, when I was talking about that game or watching it during my stream. And it looked like Deathstroke Simulator to me. So, I don't know if anyone else got that vibe, but I'm really excited to play a game where you're basically just, like, running around as Deathstroke and doing Palpatine spins towards your enemies. I like that guns? It kind of... No, you don't get that. You just get the sword part of it.
Oh, okay. We need a Deathstroke game. Well, we need a Deadpool game. We need a lot of games.
Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds there are 60 Final Fantasy games. Yes, that's.
Yes, I've never played a Final Fantasy game before, which I look at 16 and I go, well, this is the one.
Well, you had to start with one.
I think it's going to be a good one to start off.
Stories.
Yeah, well, they already said that 16 has nothing to do with any of the other ones. So if you want to try it out, just load it up and see what it's like.
Well, they say that until the crossovers, then they explain the multiverse, and then it's all crossed. I mean, they're separate to like a point, and then all of a sudden 14 gets a crossover, and it's like it's connected.
Yeah,
and then Spider-Man 2 was the one I was looking forward to most. So I can pat, like, that's what I was looking forward to the most. So I could pass to Lexi now.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. So, Lex, you want to go next with your game that got you all, sweaty?
Well, when Jim Bryan came on and he announced
that got you sweaty?
Sony.
Sorry.
Yeah. Where he announced the Sony's version of the Wii U tablet.
Oh.
So now I can play my PS5 on the toilet.
Perfect, right? Because it's right in the next room. You're like, I cannot stop this boss fight. Let me pause.
You can't use it unless you're in the same house, so you might as well just use it to go to the loo.
Okay, perfect. So it's called the loo station.
Okay, but seriously, okay. It was Final Fantasy 16. That it's the Final Fantasy 14 development team, the MMO. So. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, unlike the previous ones. Yeah. Pretty cool. We get to be primals. Like Godzilla fights, I assume.
Nice. Yes. And that was it? That was your big one?
Yeah.
Nice.
There's one other game that nobody's said anything about, which is really surprisingly. I'm sure Assassin might throw it in there, but it's Dragon Dogma. I
have a lot to say. And since you mentioned Assassin, let's just take this moment to welcome my son has arrived. Everyone, give Assassin a big round of applause. Assassin, thank you so much for coming. And
that is my balls.
How are you doing? Did you eat all the weeds that you could possibly eat?
You go in the garden. Did you go in the garden and start eating grass?
No, let me tell you something about my backyard. It's on a fucking hill. It's at a 40 degree angle, so I had to go back up and forth with the weed eater and just.
I can hear the sweat dripping off your forehead right now. I know it is.
It's making the like noise whenever it hits the desk.
No, that's the water that I was chugging.
All right, so let me take this fucking soundboard away from him now already.
It's not leaving. It's not going anywhere. I love it.
I'm sorry, Sass. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're good. Okay. Cold language, really?
Wrong podcast, Colt. Wrong podcast.
This ain't X and C. We can fucking cuss if we want.
No. He's talking about when you
We're
said
not
my
monetized
backyard.
Yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Is that what they're calling the man's milkshake now?
Oh,
Okay,
Jesus.
all right.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't announce my arrival. I was drinking a bottle of water, making sure I didn't pant too hard. When I came... Never mind. Yeah.
Well, I like that. So how are you, man? What have you been playing? And yes, woo! What you been playing? Colt said my virgin ears. No, yours might be virginated. Let's move on. Assassin games. Do you play? You play them?
Of course I have. So, past week I've been playing, obviously, Rainbow Six Siege, but single-player game, Spiderman Remastered, that the gameplay from Spider-Man 2 encouraged me to replay it, and I'm going to platinum it for the second time in a row. Anybody who's followed my Twitter knows I was recently playing The Legend of Dragoon. Although,
Yes.
Very unfortunate fact, I played for an hour, I died to Frugal, and I didn't realize I didn't save at all.
Yep.
It was so good I forgot
school.
to save, so I had to restart the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. Yeah.
You're telling me
Changed my
I have
life.
4 achievements, I got 2 hours into it, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep going. Then I'm like, oh, I died. So don't worry, it'll just restart before the boss kicks in. I'm like, why am I seeing the main menu screen again? Why is it not saying any save data was saved? Why am I being forced to load up a new... Fuck me, I didn't save!
Yes.
Yeah, it was... I was like, you know what, might as well go back to Mass Effect. Goodbye. And I
Okay,
did.
Well, good.
Played
It's
Mass
funny
Effect
that-
for the rest of the night.
It's funny that you mentioned going back to Spider-Man. I went on eBay. Let me tell you how speaking of being I'm just a naive little child, I guess. I went on eBay and I was like, you know what, $10. eBay is safe, PayPal, and it is. I made a purchase of $10 for someone who said, here's Spider-Man Remastered on PC for $10. Little did I know, sure, they let you play it on their account. Now, granted, you have your own save and all that. It's cool. It's kind of a cool thing that people can do that. They just charge $10 to just give people access to their account. You log into their Steam account, you play it, you got your own save file, you go offline so you can't be interrupted, all that. And I played it on I just have a GTX 1650, and it ran so good I just wanted to test it. I was like, I do want to get Spider-Man on PC, the remastered, and play it again. So if anyone knows of a cheap Spider-Man Steam code, the remastered Spider-Man for Steam, hit me up. Let me know where it's at, and I'll buy it.
Yeah, same thing. I need to buy it too because I got my Steam Deck behind me. And I'm waiting for the summer games if I can't get one to buy it for my Steam Deck behind me so I can play it at work.
Yeah, and if anyone, what I love about the PC, I'm not a big PC gamer, but that it depending on what controller that you have plugged in, everyone's like, yeah, no shit, Red. When I plugged in my Xbox controller and the button prompts changed to Xbox buttons, and I was like, this is so cool. So that made me really happy. And check CD keys or green gaming. I did, but it's like a whopping $35, and I can't do that.
So I
that is
did
probably
something
why.
with CD keys the other day. My Game Pass finally ran out, and I had the Game Pass for a little over 2 years when they had like that $1 deal, and I ended up going on there buying 3 years of Game Pass, or excuse me, Gold, and I used the Microsoft rewards, and it gave me 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $160. So it was a pretty good deal. So now I don't have to pay for Game Pass for 3 years unless something happens. But as of right now, CD keys saved my ass.
Yeah, Colt says, yep, it is 35. Yeah, dude, I've been checking every single day to see if I can find
That's a
something.
good deal though for 35.
I know.
I mean, that's a good listen.
I know.
I don't think you're really-
I'm just
I
trying
mean-
to save my money, and there's a lot going on.
I know you're a
have to renew my
cheapo, but
registration,
holy
and
shit.
it's a whole fun thing. Anyway, so Spider-Man, we're all playing Spider-Man. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man swings a web from his ass. Spider-Man. Isn't that how the song goes? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I mean, if
Assassin-
you wanted to.
That's how it is now, baby. So we're just to catch you up. We're just talking about what we were most excited about first from the PlayStation Showcase. The things that caught us off guard, caught us red-handed. I don't know. So instead of going down the list of every single game that we saw, Assassin, what was the most exciting thing that you saw from the PlayStation Showcase?
Now, even though I gave the showcase like a 6 out of 10, there was a decent amount of games that I did get excited for. The one that made me so happy to see it was Assassin's Creed Mirage. Anybody who knows my complicated
Username?
relationship with Assassin's Creed knows I have not liked the direction that the franchise has been going as of recent years.
Oh, someone
And
who
to
agrees with
see-
me.
Yes, someone who has hated the Fantasy Creed subsection of Assassin's Creed. It was so good to see. The only thing I didn't really get a good grip on was the story. I mean, I know you take control of Basim, who you, I can't remember if you unlock the character or if you're playing the character at the end of one of Valhalla's DLCs, but I know he was in Valhalla, and they're gonna explore him a bit in Mirage, but it was good to see Assassin's Creed go back to its sentimental roots. That was the only game aside from Spiderman or Metal Gear that had me jumping out of my seat, but that was the one I was like, yes, finally, a true Assassin's Creed. Oh, my life is now complete
So,
again.
Let me add something on top of that Mirage thing. Mirage is only $50 instead of $70.
Woo!
I have no idea why,
Yes!
but it's $50. And I mean,
Wow.
let's rephrase
That's just-
myself. $50 US, because there might be somebody that's from another country like
Yeah.
Lexi, and that's not bad for $50. That's $20 less than what I thought it was going to be. So I'll take
I
it.
don't care. If it's like
I'm
a
gonna buy
20,
it.
25 hour campaign, I don't care if it's $50, if it's $70, or even $90.
Now you're starting to
As
sound
long
like
as
me
it-
with Final Fantasy. Okay, you got to stop it. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so they actually announced that a while back, but it was nice to see that it was confirmed because they did
Yep.
say that it was going to be a much more of a scaled down Assassin's Creed. I mean, if you look at the first Assassin's Creed game now, if it was released, it probably would be, in terms of the open world, it probably would be a $40 or $50 game. So to see that was actually really nice. Not to say that there's not going to be a lack of content there in comparison, but the game is not going to be 75 miles per city or something like the newer ones have been.
Float plus the expansions where they sell you on the speed boosts to level up
Yeah.
because their game is, they know that their game is intentionally, none of that BS.
What I've always
Yeah,
found,
none of that. Super. Go ahead, Lex.
I was thinking about Ubisoft is they sell all these editions, but none of them will give you everything. So you could buy the Ultimate Edition, and it's missing one thing that the other edition has that's exclusive to that edition, and they try and hope that the hardcore fans will buy both editions just to get every piece of content.
Really? Well, that's
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
makes sense
some do
because
that.
I just had to buy Ragnarok, and that wasn't in the season pass, and I was pretty irritated about that because I bought the season pass for like $35, and then I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna play Ragnarok finally since it came out, and I had to pay. It was $50. I'm like, what the hell? I'm not paying $50. I just bought the season pass. I finally, literally, just bought it last weekend I was literally being like I don't know how to put it. I just was being greedy with my money, and I waited for it to be $15. So now I finally got it, but that was pretty annoying. So yeah,
And which version? Which?
that would have been. So I bought the ultimate. I bought the season pass for Valhalla. So I bought the standard edition, bought the season pass, got everything with the season pass. Then they come out with Ragnarok, and it's like a whole other game in Valhalla, and it kind of irritated me. I'm like, well, why would I buy this season? Why did I pay so much for the season pass? I mean, I get they got DLCs, but why wasn't Ragnarok a part of that season pass thing? But that's just, it's just
Yeah.
them trying to carry more money, like Lexi said. Money, they want to make sure people pay for it, and that's why I said I waited for it to be a little bit lower in price because I got the season pass for cheaper, so I waited for that to pretty much even up together, so...
It sort of reminds me of the Borderlands 2. They had 2 seasons pass. Like there was one that contained the 4 expansions, and there was a second one that barely gave you anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's been a while since I played B2, so...
Monad says because it was originally going to be DLC for Valhalla. That's true. I totally forgot about that. Thanks. Shout out to Monad, friend of
Really?
friend.
Yeah.
Mike.
Good point.
I've totally forgot
then it
about
grew.
that. Yeah, because Basim. Well, no spoilers for the game, but yeah, Basim is a big character, and so to see that they're keeping everything still connected. I know everyone sort of wants to get rid of the modern day stuff. I actually tend to
It just
agree.
wasn't done well. I
Right,
think it could be revisited
Yes.
They just need to give it the love, because they knew the direction they wanted to go in, and it was like, we're doing the assassin stuff, like none of the modern day stuff, but they never gave the full love to the modern. I don't know. I liked it when I played it in Assassin's Creed 1, and I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since AC3, so.
I miss Desmond.
Yeah, and Desmond.
I do too.
Yeah, yeah. And
They're bringing back, like, use Eden technology. I don't know. Use
No, but
some
see, the thing-
They could make
plot
up a baloney
armor.
reason.
No,
plot,
but Lex,
like-
you know what the irony is? We have like 15 Assassin's Creed mainline games, but it was the Watch Dogs DLC that proved to everybody you can make an Assassin's Creed game in the modern times. And when I played it, I thought, why didn't they do it this? Why don't we have a modern day Assassin's Creed? They could have done this with Desmond.
Well, it's the same
Like,
universe.
Yeah. Well,
Because you in Watch Dogs 1, sorry spoilers, you can in Black Flag your boss goes on a business trip and goes missing, and in
Yeah.
Watch Dogs one of your targets is that very guy from Abstergo and the location he was going to.
yeah,
So-
they even touched more upon that. I think it was in it was either Origins or Odyssey. If you go into the laptop that the modern day protagonist, I forget her name, you go into the laptop, you look through the files, and you can see Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs killing that same corporate businessman you were talking about. And, like, right there, you could clearly see Aiden with his trench coat, his cap, his mask. I mean, they didn't really say that it's in the same universe, because that DLC for Legion was technically more fan service. But I truly believe they are in the same universe.
It's hard to deny the evidence with the Black Flag. Like it's a 1-to-1. Like if the name was more of a parody, then I'd be more inclined to believe, oh, it's just a reference. Like the dev team's talking, but it's the same guy.
Yeah, I remember
And he's
also
in the
Valhalla,
location.
The Templars were interested in recruiting Aiden as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, how would you combat Abstergo? Because they're the modern Templars, but they're just a tech company, right?
Lord help us, the
Much
Assassins and DedSec, if they combine Bloom with Abstergo. Which it was also teased in Black Flag that they were possibly entering a partnership as well.
This is the real enemy. In Assassin's Creed, the real enemy is not Templars and Assassins. It is about capitalism.
Ooh,
Goddamn
please,
capitalists.
No, it's on subject. That's going way too tangential.
more politics. That is a really good comparison. I like that. I'm interested. Shout out to everyone in chat, by the way. Thank you all for being here. Got Yodani, who says, it's Tuesday, isn't it? That was a reference to Lexi. Speaking of which, chat, tell Lexi happy birthday. It is her birthday, and you've turned 24 years young. Congratulations, you made it to level 24. Chat, get them birthday likes out. Or
And
birthday,
birthday.
likes.
Lexi didn't
Happy
want
birthday,
any
by the
of
way.
that public.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah. So
I
By
remember
the time I'll
those
be in my
days.
40s, by the time Starfield 2 comes out.
I mean, I'll be
If I'm
25
not-
no, you
next
might
month.
not be. You might be about. Oh yeah, because they're gonna make Elden Ring. So yeah, you might.
Elden Ring, but
Elden
Ring.
Ring.
Elden Ring.
I mean,
you heard
Elden
it here
Scrolls.
first, everybody.
Elden Ring.
Bethesda is
Elden
making
Scrolls.
Elden Ring.
This and it's how you can tell I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning. So
Mac's tired, yeah.
Very
sorry,
tired.
Mac. Yeah, Mac will be
We
jumping
wake
up
up-
early because he's going to fall asleep very
Well,
soon.
if they continue
wake
this
up-
trend, they're
We
going to
wake
have...
up during the showcase on June 11th. Todd Howard comes on stage and says, we're not going to make Elder Scrolls 6, we're going to make a new game in a new partnership. And Miyazaki comes on stage and we just go, what the fuck?
at least the combat
Oh
would
my
be good.
God.
The Elden Scrolls.
The Elden,
Elden
Scrolls.
Scrolls.
I would
Fall.
actually be okay with that.
I got a crossover.
The Fallen Scrolls 7.
the Fallen Ring.
Fallen
the Fallen
Rolls.
Ring.
All right, what's
Elden
our
Rolls.
What
That's my
was
grandmother.
The next subject?
I don't know.
Fall of the
So hey, PlayStation's a thing. Sergeant Sentinel Gaming, thank you for the happy birthday, and Jake also for the happy birthday. Lexi says thank you. I speak for her. There you go.
Thank you, chat.
There you go. Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's happening. I'm losing my mind. So, all right. So, Assassin. So, Mirage was your big takeaway.
Yes.
Good, man. Let me tell you. All right. If I had to, I don't know. There's two that I want to choose. But if I had to choose one, the one that gave me the biggest reaction, I think, was one that we already knew about, and it was Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. And I think it was because, like, I kind of forgot about it as I was watching the showcase. And so when we saw this CGI, I'm like, oh, a fucking ant. What is this, grounded PlayStation? Or
Yeah, I thought I was like,
honestly
wow. I said DLC.
Ant-Man.
I said, oh, look,
Ant-Man.
I said, oh, fuck, another DLC for Grounded. Oh, God, here we go. I said, now PlayStation got the right to this shit. That's what I said.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what is this? And then I saw, like, like this bird flying through the air. Well, we know now that is the Ends bird. So for you Metal Gear heads out there. Anyway, and then, like, but you know, honestly, the CGI was really not great at all. It wasn't, like, the worst or anything, but it just, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not going to knock on that, though. Because it did serve its purpose. And I saw an alligator eat a pelican, and then a pelican ate the ant, and the ant turned into... It was like, oh, evolution. What the hell is going on with this trailer?
Do you know what's a miracle about this teaser? This is Konami's first proper video game in, like... When did Survive come out?
5 years since 2018. This is the first game internally made since... For 5 years.
Because if people don't know, Konami is very interested in earning money from the Japanese gambling industry. They're perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, they don't care about video games. That's the point. So
Yeah.
let's hope.
No. Actually, after the pandemic ended, they stated that they were going to reinvest in video games because the pachinko machines in Japan...
Oh yeah, nobody could go.
Nobody could go. So they lost money, but then they saw their old friends in the industry, they saw Square and Capcom and Bandai, they were making money during the pandemic, even more money, because everybody was at home playing video games, so that's when Konami decided to, you know what, maybe we shouldn't leave just yet.
I mean, they already messed up. They lost their best asset. Arguably their best asset.
Yeah.
And they screwed that ball hard. Like, I don't think Kojima's really wanted to work on a Metal Gear Solid game since 2, but he had to keep making them.
Yep, facts. Yeah, he wasn't very... He's been very open about Konami and how they treated him, just like, yeah, keep doing that thing and making us money. And he's like, all right, if the story makes sense. So he kept trying to, like, dig and dig and dig. Metal Gear Solid 3 was like, okay, let's just go back to the beginning. Metal Gear Solid 3 being the beginning of the Metal Gear timeline, which I think is a great... I think them remaking that game really serves a great entry point for anyone who hasn't played, because it is the first. And people are like, why would they... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Assassin and DeMarco both haven't played any Metal Gear game. I'm so jealous, because 3 is just so good. You don't need to ask any questions. There are plenty of references, obviously, like while you're playing, like, what are they talking about? Foreshadowing? What? But anyway, so at the end of this trailer, it's like zooming in, and it was such like a weird moment. I couldn't see anything in the shadows, but I was like, I don't know, it's like my instincts kicked in, and I was like, is this Metal Gear? And Snake, oh my god, that's when I lost my shit.
I lost it, yeah.
Totally caught me off guard. I was like, oh my fucking... Yeah, and he looks so good. I'll tell
you when I knew it was Snake, when I knew it was Metal Gear Solid, is when they were above that boat, that little like canoe-looking thing, and you could kind of see the snake going in circles. And then I was like, "Is that a snake?" I'm like, "Oh!" I was telling my buddy Captain, I was, "Oh, this has got to be Metal Gear 3." I said, "There's no way it's not." You know what I'm saying? And then they go in the forest more after the crocodile bites it or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Big question though.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Lex.
The guy who voices Snake returning?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
David Hayter, yes.
He is an absolute Chad. Like, he's done so much fan stuff. I think you can, like, hire his voice, and one of the streamers, someone paid for him to say something really, really cringe. He was just hilarious. He's an amazing dude.
He is one of the most. He is one of those people like that loves. He loves the love. I think I've seen so many interviews with David Hayter. Shout out to Young, and all the people because Young is one of the most like avid Metal Gear Kojima lovers out there. And I remember watching the show. An interview with him with David Hayter. And him just being like, yeah, because he was actually really salty for a while. Konami just did not want him for narrative reasons, Metal Gear Solid 5. But even before that, they didn't want to continue with him because, rightfully so, his rates were going up. And he's like, dude, if this is going to be all that I'm going to do for the rest of my life, like...
Oh, yeah, because Survive literally starts with, like, Snake and Quiet just, like, pissing off in a helicopter.
Right, exactly. I mean, and like, again, for narrative reasons, for anyone who hasn't played Metal Gear Solid 5, David Hayter is not in that game, and that's all I'll say. But there is a good reason for it, but that's just the route that the story goes. But biggest thing... Anyway, so David Hayter, he loves being Snake. He always wanted to continue being Snake. He wants to be Snake in the live-action Metal Gear Solid movie, which I think he'd be great in, because he fucking looks like Snake. I know he's like in his late 40s now, I think, but he fucking looks like Snake. He's even cosplayed as Snake and everything. I would love that so much. So yeah, so the biggest question is, and we can get into that. There is another topic that we'll get into after this, but about the voice actors returning. Anyway, long story short, Metal Gear Solid 3 totally made me scream and poop and pee, and it was a good time.
It's good to hear it's faithful as well. It's going to be a faithful remake.
Yes.
Unlike Final Fantasy VII remake. Yikes, that changed so much for the fans.
Well, look.
Well, didn't they cut it in 3 and expand on the lore for the remake of FF7?
Yeah, they took a lot of liberties. They're changing the story. That's all I'm going to say about it. But they're changing the story, and it's going against what the fans wanted from. They just wanted the game remade. So even if they split it, like, they could have still stuck to the original, but they, for whatever, they wanted to go a different direction and do their own thing with the remake.
Well, I thought, as someone who never played the original, I thought it was a pretty decent game. I still need to finish it though. I think I'm on chapter 10 at the moment. Or no, I'm about to meet the Don Cornego, whatever. Yeah, I haven't met him yet. But when it came to the Metal Gear Solid remake, you guys recognized it almost immediately. When I saw it, I thought, this must be Ghost Recon. Because, with the jungles and everything, I thought, is this where Ubisoft is going to announce Ghost Recon? Or is this Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora? Why does it look so dark? And then I saw the bird, right? It goes through the fence, and I immediately thought, wait a minute. Hold up, where have I seen that fence before? Because I never played the Metal Gear games, but after we talked a few weeks ago, I saw some YouTube videos on it, and I saw some of the gameplay and some of the cutscenes, and I thought, wait a minute, that gate looks familiar. Isn't that from Metal Gear Solid? And then all of a sudden, the gunfire, and then the snake. I'm like, yo, okay, this is Metal Gear Solid, isn't it? And then I saw Snake, and like you guys, I have no emotional attachment to the franchise, but I was like, yes!
Me neither.
Finally, I get to experience Metal Gear Solid for the first time, and it's going to be this one. The game that everybody likes from the PS2, it's going to be remade, and I get to play it for the first time. And a lot of people say that 3 is the one you want to get started with, because it's a prequel, isn't it? To the first two?
Yes, yep.
I think there's
great.
I think there's an infamous paradox ending you can get, where if you kill, is it Ocelot? Before you meet him, you used to get this achievement. Like, because you could kill him before you met him, and it was this ending that was like spread around the internet. It was like a big thing.
Yeah, there is that. This is one of the things that Metal Gear Solid games do that it's just insane. Like, you can literally wait out the end, and he will die. if you leave your game on for like, what is it, like 24 hours or something, and he will die from old age. I'm not fucking kidding. He will die from old age because the dude's like 106 years old or whatever. It's crazy. And then you can like kill him by giving him like a heart attack. You can actually kill the end way before he's like in a wheelchair. They're like wheeling him in to a room, and if you jump up right at the right second and snipe him, you never have to fight him as a boss fight. There's so many things like that in that game. It's just insane, man. Yeah. So, yeah. So Metal Gear Solid 3.
I do kind of wish they remade 4 because that is the hardest to access. Because it was only ever on the PS3, and you have to have a really good PC to. It's just you can just about emulate it at a decent 60 frames. Like, I don't know. Hopefully after, but I think 4 would have been another great pick for a remake. Just because of accessibility. I mean, anyone can go and buy a PS2.
It needs to get the hell off of the PS3, which definitely makes me question. Okay, look, Metal Gear is another topic that we're going to get on, so let's get away from this for a moment.
Yep.
As DeMarco wants to be freed from this hell, he says. Free me, unchain me. So, look, the other thing that I was super, and I'll tell you how I feel after I tell you what it is. I want to know how everyone else feels about this, or if they have any experience with this game. Dragon's Dogma 2 was the other game that literally pee poop everywhere. Again, that game, I love it. It's such a cult classic game. I was so surprised to see that, and it's coming to everything, by the way, which is great for everyone who hasn't played it. Dragon's Dogma, it is so cheap. It's still cheap right now, right, Mac? It's like
it's $5. It's $5. It was $5. I don't know about now. It's Tuesday, so the deal's changed. So go look here. Give me a second. Give me 30 seconds. You know, I'm over here not playing my Xbox, but it's on. So
yo, Mac, check your Xbox. I'll check the PlayStation Store.
I'll go and check Steam.
Oh, there we go. DeMarco's going to check the black market. And we're just checking all around for you.
So it's back to $30. It's back to $30. Back to $30.
Okay, so it's definitely worth it. If anyone has never played Dragon's Dogma, it is like this mix between like, it's got like, I don't want to say anything like Turn Anyone. It's an open world game that
$30 on PlayStation.
There you go, $30 PlayStation, $30 on Xbox, $30 all around.
Is it
on Steam? It's $30 too. Come on, Lexi, pick your shit up.
Is it Dark Horizon?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the complete edition. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's open
£23.
world. It's very. It is very like. It gives me like that Lord of the Rings, like adventure vibe because there's not a lot of fast travel at all. Like so when you have to go somewhere, you got to prepare. When nighttime hits, you're like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. Like, cause night is like that thick, black darkness that I think that reminds me. The first time I ever saw that, there's a word for it, but they used it in Resident Evil 5. Whenever you go into the caves, Resident Evil 5, they started to use that tech.
Is that the one where you punch boulders?
Yes, that's it. Game of the year. God, I hope they do not make Resident Evil 5. I do not care. That's a hot take. I
want to punch some boulders.
What the fuck?
You know when Chris was like super jacked.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Mystic Wanderer, thank you so much for showing up. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Chill out. Everyone shout out Mystic Wanderer, our newest friend, part of the family. Thank you. Mystic Wonder says, I am so hyped for Dragon's Dogma 2.
Deck on... my bad. Go ahead, Reg. My bad. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mystic Wonder says, I'm so hyped for Dragon's Dogma 2. The fact that it looks like more Dragon's Dogma 1 is so good. And I totally agree with that. Yeah, if you like break it down, it looks so much better than Dragon's Dogma. But it still has that... You can just look at it and say, that's Dragon's Dogma. And so I totally get where you're coming from, Mystic. I 100% agree. So, does anyone have any... history? Mac, you spoke up and said that you were like, oh yeah.
So I'm sure you remember, Red. Remember back in the day they had, it was called spawns. You know, your characters were actually called.
Go ahead.
a spawn. Remember? I don't know if you remember. Like if you had
I
friends
remember.
online, like it's almost like you could. So like, say if I was a
Pawns is what they
barbarian.
were called. Pawns.
Yeah. Pawns. Yeah. Couldn't remember what it was. Say if Red was a barbarian, I was a rogue or a magician. I can actually take one of my guys out and summon his character in, even though it's not like actually him. It wasn't a co-op game, but I could take his character leveled and use him in my game, which is pretty cool. No game ever has implied this into it, or whatever however you want to say it, has put it into their game since this. This is the first time and probably only time. I don't think any other.
Slight maybe rebutted is there was a racing game, and I don't remember which one, that brought in your friends ghosts, and then it would try to emulate how they race, like if
that would be
aggressive
motorsports. Yeah, it was either motors. I think it was motorsports that did that way earlier, like when they first like started trying to bring your friends into stuff. I don't know, maybe not. I know what you're
tried to emulate their behavior.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna say it was motors. This is when the Xbox One, when they switched over to the Xbox One, that was like one of the gimmicks they tried to get to people to buy the game. Play with your friends. Now it's just some random name above the car, and they just drive around like madmen.
It's probably easier.
Yeah, I mean, it probably saves up a lot of time too.
The Xbox One was like that underpowered that they were like, oh, the cloud's gonna power the rest of the games, it'll be fine. And then we all know how that went.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's why we're at. Why Xbox?
That's the reason. Yeah, that's the reason why Crackdown 3 doesn't have all the building destruction, because they dropped all the cloud stuff.
Yeah.
But it has it in multiplayer at least.
I mean, I love Crackdown 3, so it was good to me. To me, it was good.
Terry Crews, perfect.
Yeah, but Dragon Dogma is like one of those games where it's just like, if you want a Dungeons and Dragons hack and slash game, just you like Dragon Age or any of those games, you're gonna like this game, and I'd be very surprised if you did it. So, I definitely take a look if you can. I wouldn't say spend $30 on the old one, because I'm very I like to save money when it comes to something like that, but wait for a deal. If you got it, I'm sure these, PlayStation's got a big thing coming up. You got the Steam summer sales really within the next month. We know that's like they're just giving away shit at that point.
Wait a minute. I didn't realize. I'm looking through my backlog right now, and I have Dragon's Dogma downloaded. I just haven't played it yet.
Look at this man. He has so many games. He don't even know what he owns.
I even remember I bought Dragon's Dogma for Gaz, of all people, and now people are like, you need to play it. And he's like, oh, I've never played it. I've never played the game before. And I'm like, Gaz! He needs to play it.
I've never played Dragon's Dogma.
You know what?
I bet you own it for some reason, too, don't you?
No.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
Like I said, if you could buy it, get it for wait for a sale. You go. I think the last time I seen it was $5. It was like $5 or $6. I mean, if you can get it for $5 or $6, that's a steal. Even if you only play like 5 hours of it, just to enjoy a little bit of it, that's worth it to me. So every hour for $1, whatever.
It's very I see what you did there. It's very unique. Right off the bat, you can feel the uniqueness. Mystic Wonder again says, and Pawns learned about enemy weaknesses and how to fight them from being summoned in other games and fighting enemies you've personally never seen. Yeah, so your pawn would come back. They would bring back experience and knowledge. You would see their knowledge level of certain enemies and certain areas and whatever, and they'll talk with you along the way of your journey. You'll be watching them learn. They'll be like, I've not. You know how they talk, Mac? They're like, I've not knowledge of this place.
The wind whispered in my ear to the magical nights.
Exactly.
And the fire demon shoved his fist up my blank.
There you go.
Solved this. So.
Yeah, stuff like that. Exactly. I think it's exactly a quote.
They're poetic. They're poetic when they talk. They got that.
So Shakespearean, I guess.
Yeah,
yes, they say not in ought. Stuff like
that.
Thou
though. Does dearest go to the ye old heaven?
They get a skull from in the dirt, and they just carry it around and speak with it and shit. I'm sorry. We're getting out of topic here.
Yeah.
We're getting out of topic here.
Yeah. So anyway, Dragon's Dogma. If anyone hasn't played it, that was the one for me. The big one, I guess. Just because it hit me in the heart Metal Gear was the one that really. I literally lost my shit, and I was like on the way to a shoot in the car. I was like, "Honey, you have to drive." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Just drive!" And I grabbed my phone and I was like watching. I was
Did you
like,
guys
"Oh, fuck!"
expect
And
to
she's
see
like,
it though?
Yeah. So
Did you guys expect to see Dragon's Dogma 2 this soon? They just announced it literally less
Yes
than a year
and
ago.
no. Not. I didn't expect it at the PlayStation showing. I expected it at the Summer Games. I just it's not that it's a AAA game. It is. It could be naturally a AAA game, but I just feel like that's a showing for Summer Game Fest. It's not like they don't have nobody that like publish them. Now clearly Sony has went into their $8 billion and got the marketing rights to them. So that's probably, they took it as is, So, I mean, we're going to probably see Dragon Age for Xbox, or even Summer Games Fest. So that's probably why Xbox or somebody didn't reach out, because just what it is. So.
Yeah, because when I saw Dragon's Dogma 2 pop up and I saw the Capcom logo, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Didn't you guys just announce this like less than 12 months ago? What are y'all doing here showing me this here? And then I saw the gameplay, I'm like, wait a minute. Not only did you guys show up, but you got gameplay? What the fuck? This is... The way that I saw it, it seems like Capcom's version of Final Fantasy to me.
I want to recommend something to you, Assassin. So when you play the game, do not use daggers off rip. That shit was horrible. I had to restart. No, them things they're like literally like little, I don't know, paper clips, and they're horrible. And you got to get within 3 feet of somebody to hit them. And do not use the daggers. Like they're like, I don't know. You'll know what I'm seeing. Anything that doesn't have a mid range or farther away. Don't use it, because it's mainly at the
really
beginning of the game. You'll die constantly. So that's for anybody that wants to play it. I wasted like 8 hours of. I wasted 8 hours of my life doing that, and I'm like, I gotta restart my freaking game and pick somebody else because this shit's not working.
Mystic again. Sorry, I keep calling it Mystic. Thank you for being here, Mystic. They say the beast is weak to fire, which is something that again like your pawns will call out. I remember there was the trolls. And I remember hearing my companion, I had a female companion on my team, and one of my dudes yelled out, they're like, "The beast gets excited at the sight of females!" And I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? And it's true. The troll went straight for the female, picked her up, and I'm like, oh shit. The game is incredible. It's such a, I wish more people would have played it. It is just, and this is just this isn't scripted things. This is just I don't know how they did it. The game is just such a gem. Anyway, let's stop talking about this. DeMarco's dying inside.
No, I'm excited for Dragon's Dogma 2.
Okay.
I saw it and I thought it looked cool. I just don't know anything about the game other than it looks neat.
I'm going to be honest. I thought it came out years ago too, because I confused.
Didn't it come out years ago?
The Dark Age.
Dark Arisen, yeah.
I confused Dragon's Dogma with Dragon Age 2.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I'm not joking. Those two blended my mind. So I thought
they're similar
Dragon's
games
Dogma
too.
2 came out several years ago. I'm like, oh wait, what?
They're similar games. So yeah, I can see where somebody that's not not saying that you're not a fan, but somebody that hasn't played them, I can easily see where they they mesh. If you see the gameplay, they're kind of similar in their own ways. So not it is.
It's mostly the logo for some reason that I smashed together.
Yeah. So there's that. Timestamps. Fuck, I meant to ask someone for that help.
Language wolf.
Well, here's a new timestamp. 7 o'clock is the new one. So there you go. All right.
There you go. Okay, so what's our secondary? You got anything else from the PlayStation Showcase we want to touch on?
Let me look at this picture real quick, and I will tell you in 30 seconds because I want to know. There's something
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Can we talk about something? Can we talk about something here? What is PlayStation's obsession with cat games? What's going on here?
And also,
Japanese?
you're forgetting Foam Party.
Oh my, yeah,
FoamStars.
That shit. Oh my god. Listen.
Yeah. Hey.
I want to know real quick. If you're colorblind, so I'm colorblind. I can't see green and yellow, and that shit was horrible, dude. And my buddy told me this. He goes, "I want you to pause it real quick," because he's like, "Hey, John, pause that." I'm like, why? He goes, from what you're about to see, he goes, you're not going to enjoy this because there's a lot of colors. And I was like, there's no way. He goes, I'm not going to tell you what it is. So I started playing it. And I was like, oh, it looks like Splatoon. And then all of a sudden, they actually started showing gameplay. And I was like, my eyes, they hurt. Because it was just it was the worst. This game is already dead. The servers they're already shot down. This game is trash. Oh, sorry. I want to this is what I'm talking about, DeMarco. You're saying this is what we seen that was bad. Yeah, there might be like a bunch of good third party marketing games, but games like this is bad. This is not what you want for a showcase. This is awful. My God, and it's a cat game. Let's fucking talk about that shit show. And I have cats.
I'm bringing them up ironically, obviously, but I was saying this before the stream. I was dying in laughter when they had this very serious, very heartfelt, emotional game with the animal, like the mama animal that died, and the baby came
Neva?
up, and it was and it was tears were streaming, and it was beautiful music, and then immediately, there's no pause, it just hard cuts to this jaunty tune, dun 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 dun, and then they have cats and pirates, and it was the worst transition I had ever remember seeing in recent history in a gaming showcase. Like, that should not have been put next to one another. They could have put anything else.
When I saw it, I'm like, who's copying Splatoon here? And then I saw literally Square Enix, and like, of course, that's the one publisher. I'm not surprised. If they had said Capcom or Activision or EA, I would have been like, really? That kind of game? But when I saw Square Enix, I'm like, of course. Why am I not surprised?
Could you imagine if it's Square's NFT blockchain game?
I'm out.
No, that's Assassin's Creed, dude. They're doing that for Assassin's Creed, so don't worry.
I'm out.
NFTs, let's go, Crypto Crash.
What about? Let me throw another game out there. Let's see. It's called the Plucky Squire, I think is what it's called.
That's been shown off before.
So they showed that last year. They showed that last year on the Xbox showcase. So I was actually like really surprised they showed it here because of like the scenario what they did last year. This game actually looks really good. Like, this is like one of those like games that just just meshes well with the community, and just really good. So that's the only other one. There's a couple other games. Helldiver, Fair Games. I mean, there wasn't much else. The shitty ass VR games. And Marathon.
Oh yeah.
What about Marathon? I'm sorry, DeMarco. The VR games are poop.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Max only got 27 minutes left. It's fine, DeMarco.
DeMarco, you could not tell me those VR games looked great.
Oh, Resident Evil 4
it was
VR.
okay.
Resident Evil 4 VR.
That's like the way you
But
can
I'm
like
not gonna
block
spend
the chainsaw.
$600
That's
to play
like
Resident
peak
Evil.
VR technology.
No, none of those. Resident Evil 4 looked really cool. None of those games were the ones that would get me to buy a PlayStation VR for like $600. But I appreciate that Sony is letting developers do that. That's all I care about, is that the opportunity. I just wish they put more money, because Xbox is like, nope.
Well, they know that the community, that the Xbox community people are not going to buy a VR, because look what they did with the Kinect. People didn't really care about the Kinect, so they know
VR is not Kinect.
Nintendo did the same thing too.
But they know,
but
the Kinect comes for free. That's and the people still didn't use it.
Until Xbox get in a good place and they like with consistent games, I don't think they're going to branch into like gimmicks like Kinect or VR.
I think
Microsoft finally gets on top.
I think DeMarco will
like VR.
I think DeMarco's going to.
It's a gimmick at the moment, but you can do so much with VR.
When VR goes full wireless, we're talking about you put the headset on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when Microsoft finally goes, okay, let's imply ourselves into this finally, because people don't like wires. I mean, look at me. If I tell people I play with a wire controller, and they look at me like I'm fucking crazy, because I'm like, well, I'm a timing based guy. I play shooters. I play timing games with like basketball. People look at me like I'm crazy because I still do it with my single player games. But like, if I'm playing something like VR, I don't want a wire. First of all, if I trip, I can't get back up. I'm too big for that. It's over with. Just take me out back, shoot me, because there ain't nothing gonna happen.
The technology's got a long way to go, because
unfortunately, I still think we're a generation, maybe even 2 generations away before we get to where VR can be implied to be great and super good. But like, the people that are buying VR now are the reason why it's going to happen, because I'm not going to spend $600 on a VR just to play Resident Evil 4. It looked good. Crossfire even looked decent. It looked like an old school Call of Duty game, but I'm not spending $600 to play just 1 or 2 games.
I said this when the PSVR2 was announced, or like when the specs came out with like the eye tracking and stuff. I was going to be like, I said it's going to be too expensive.
Yeah.
Like it's the exact cost of a PlayStation 5. So
Yeah,
you'd
that's-
have to get the full experience of the entire library. And I had an argument with someone. You're paying $1,000 for your. And if you want the queue, which is probably going to set you back another 300, that's like 1.3k for the whole like.
Yeah, how many people really?
300. Lexi, this is Sony. It's gonna be 500.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. And don't forget $250 earbuds. That
And then
will
you-
sound like
Yes.
poop. That won't sound very good.
That's true. And then you got to buy the game, and then there's like it leads into a lot of things where how many people
Yeah.
actually have throw away $1,000?
Might as well. You might as well buy a PC at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching the VR games during the showcase last week, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna listen to DeMarco here. I'm just gonna go in with an open mind. Here's the VR segment. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. And I kid you not, and I said this last week. I said this literally last week, and I said it word for word on the showcase. I was like, "Oh, DeMarco, you poor fool. What the fuck is this?" Because yes, Resident Evil 4 remake was fine. It was great. It looks good. Capcom, of course, carries the show always because you can't count on Square Enix anymore for Sony. But Arizona, what is this zombie thing like? What?
That
It
looks fun
looks-
to me.
it-
That looks stylized. It has
I get-
humor. Like you could
Well,
make
yeah.
a generic zombie
It-
game, or you could make Arizona Sunshine
yeah,
2, which
yeah.
tries to do something a little different with
Yeah,
its style.
yeah, DeMarco.
It's-
DeMarco, wait. The graphics look fine. It's just the gameplay. It looks like you have a fly swatter and you're just swatting it
Yeah.
right in front of your face.
You're
That's
just standing there.
Do the arms
going
not
like,
extend?
Whoa.
like what's going on here? Although I will admit that one shooter, oh fuck, what was it? It was the one where
Crossfire.
you're basically in someone's head. No, not Crossfire.
You're in someone's head, isn't that every game?
Oh, it's something with an S. It starts with an S.
Yeah.
Synopsis or something like-
Synopsis. Yeah,
Yeah.
that game looks pretty cool, but I'm not gonna spend $550-$600 on just that in
That-
RE4.
It's just tough. That's
Yeah,
why
the
I
thing
think
with VR is
tough.
it doesn't matter if you have an Oculus or a PSVR2 or whatever. None of them have a killer app where everybody says, if you want to play this game, you have to get this VR headset. They don't have an app like that because the technology's not fully
Valve
there
have
yet.
that.
It will be there eventually when we have grandkids, but it's not there now.
The problem with
Hold
VR
the
is
front door. Can we at least get to the kid part? Damn. Just because me and you got kids doesn't mean let these guys get to the kid part there, Assassin.
No, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general, Mac.
My bad, Lexi. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, you're good. The problem with VR is there's not enough hit game. I mean, there's Half-Life Alyx, amazing. I'd say get a cheap like second-hand Oculus Rift. Go play that, amazing. Absolutely phenomenal, built up from the ground up. You could do so much cool stuff. I've played through that 5 times. But there needs to be more games like that. So, and here's the problem with the PSVR2. It's proprietary software and hardware. That's the problem. You can, if it's exclusive, say like the Horizon game that's coming out for the PSVR2, it's not gonna be on PC for a long time. So you need a PSVR2 if you ever want to experience that full game.
Not to mention you need the actual console
Yep.
as well as the VR headset.
Really?
You're technically spending
Like-
$1,000-$1,200 just to play 1 or 2 games that you may or may not like.
If like I don't know how they do it, but if they made an adapter or something, they worked on technologies to support it. You could plug your PC VR headset into your PS5; it would function the same, roughly. You might not have all the features, but you definitely have the core system that you need.
Yeah, no, I will say, as someone who loves VR, it will never, ever show well, ever, on a TV. You will never understand what you're seeing because all of them are going to look the same. Really, what changes is the features and the, like, DeMarco and I agree, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners is probably the best VR game ever. And even when they advertise it, it just looks like another VR game. What makes it so great is you go, wait, can I do this? And you go, oh my God, I can do that because it makes sense. It's in VR. You should be able to pick up your gun, go like with a revolver, go, and the fucking revolving chamber comes out. And like, what happens if I tilt my gun up? The bullets are gonna fall out. Well, shit! Stuff like that. VR is never going to be advertised well because, again, people they think they get it, but you don't get it until you get in it and try it. Like,
yeah,
I
just
think
the feel of it too. Like just being able to naturally like in Saints and Sinners
with your
specifically,
bag, just be like,
reach back, grab the bag, like toss stuff out of it, drop stuff into it, like. You scrap stuff by throwing it into a bin that's next to you that like recycles it for components to do crafting in the game, and so
it's
just
simplicity.
The intuitiveness of it is all there.
Like that thing where you empty like the revolver or whatever, that can be like tedious if you really make it like putting each individual, like that will get tedious. Or if you've played something like Boneworks.
Well, it's not, they do that, but it's not exactly. You just have to like get it in the general area, and like you take a bullet and then you get it in the general area of the chamber.
And you just go,
and you just go do.
I don't know if if you played Boneworks,
no.
That game, because your body has physics, it's very hard to do stuff because you're constantly hitting your own body. And reloading guns is tedious because there's no auto assist with it.
Yeah,
so
that's taking it to the extreme though. That's like the far end of it where it becomes too not gamified. Like there's an element of gamified that Saints and Sinners.
Yeah, because that's what it is in Half-Life Alyx. You have a lot of assist options. It's very, very friendly. I mean, you can smash bottles and that, and it's just like. I don't know.
Yeah, as much as I love VR. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you, okay, you three have played it. Have any of you ever, like, walked into a wall or smacked your hand on something or anything like that? Has any of y'all ever done that? I've seen some stupid videos of, like, grandma's falling from, like, a roller coaster ride or something like that and busting her face and shit. But I don't know if that's ever happened for you guys. I'm just asking if that's...
I have hit my hand on my entertainment center one time.
Ooh.
And it did not feel good.
Yeah.
That's about as far as I've got. I did punch my TV one time. So glad that it wasn't very hard, but I did punch my TV. I immediately threw my headset off and like, "Are you okay, baby?" And
your TV said you hit like a bitch.
Yeah, it's got like the whole face on it and everything. No, I haven't done that. Look, so I could talk about VR all day long. Let's talk about other things. Let's talk about. You know what? I'm going to jump straight into this, and then we can come back to... So, CD Projekt Red was going through a fun thing this week. Everyone's yelling and screaming. Again, by the way, thank you. Once again, people were screaming that PlayStation is going to buy CD Projekt Red. So, CD Projekt Red came out, tweeted, if anyone has the exact quote or who it was that said... they came out and said, we are not for sale. And in the same breath, they also shared that they have sold over 50 million copies of The Witcher in general, right? It wasn't just... It wasn't just The Witcher 3. It wasn't just The Witcher 3?
Yes.
Jesus.
75 million overall for all three games.
Thank you. That because I did see that. That's where I was confused. Thank you.
How much is Witcher 3 though? Like most Witcher fans have never played the first or second game. I can guarantee that.
The second one was good. The second one wasn't better than the third one, but it was still really good.
First one, I agree. Yeah, first one I agree. Not a lot of people played it.
First one's getting a remake. Going to dive into that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Umbra, shout out to you, buddy. Thank you so much for being here, man. Go to bed. Go to hell to bed. No, he said he's tired. So this is not surprising at all. The Witcher 3. God, I don't even know where to begin. If you don't, you know, even if you haven't ever played it, you know, people are like, oh, I'm tired of hearing how amazing the game is. So the sales, even knowing how popular The Witcher 3 is, those sales numbers blow me away. So here's a question. Let's tie it into the CD Projekt Red being acquired by Sony. Has been debunked by CD Projekt Red. Marcin Lewinsky, I'm saying that name completely wrong, I'm sure. But I think I came close. And he said, we are not for sale. And I think if you tie into the numbers, let's say that The Witcher 3 was a PlayStation exclusive. Do you think 50 million sales would have happened?
No.
Probably not. And
No?
this sort of ties into
Not even close.
This sort of ties into my issue with exclusivity depending on the IP in general. We've talked about Spider-Man. Spider-Man does great, and it's fine. The devs are doing great. PlayStation's doing great with Spider-Man. But it's Spider-Man. If Spider-Man wasn't
Spider-Man would
exclusive...
sell. We've
Yes.
seen how many shitty Activision games that have been made,
Yes,
and they've still
exactly.
sold.
Hey,
Exactly.
hey, there was a couple of good ones in there, Lexi.
There was a couple of good ones, but
There was
most
a
of them were
couple.
trash.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
some of
that's
them were
true,
rough. But it's just to my point. Would Spider-Man... There's no question. Spider-Man would sell triple, or if it was released day and date on everything all at once. It's Spider-Man. It's the same thing with The Witcher, and I think what CD Projekt Red is seeing now and showing is saying, we're not for sale. We don't need to go exclusive to anywhere. We want everyone to play our games everywhere. Look at our sales numbers. We're kicking ass thanks to the fact that we're releasing everywhere, and I think this is great. Great news. Anyone have any thoughts on everything I just said? DeMarco.
You summed it up perfectly. The exact quote that I have here: nothing has changed on our end, so I can repeat what we've been saying throughout the years. CD Projekt Red is not for sale. We want to remain independent. We have, I believe, an excellent strategy. Not easy to execute for sure, but it's very exciting to follow our own path. So it's pure rumor. Was the exact quote verbatim.
Wasn't pure rumor, it was pure copium.
Cool.
Pure desperation.
Wait,
Yeah.
realistically, what's their stock price? And how much money does Sony have on hand at the moment?
8 billion
They
is
set
what
aside
have.
$8 billion for acquisitions last week.
Okay. Also, I can't trust what they've said because NDAs, they won't be able to tell us either way. I mean, they could.
Yeah, so
Well,
actually,
yeah.
it's funny that you should bring that up. So one of the common arguments is people bringing up, well, look at, and there are companies in the past, I can't remember, Shinobi tweeted about this. There's companies in the past that have denied being acquired up until, literally the day before they get acquired, and then people said, wait, well, what do you mean you just got acquired? It's not as easy as that, because I think, to my understanding, the difference is that CD Projekt Red is a publicly traded company. So you have the board of, directors that you have to appeal to, and that kind of drive some of the decision making there on that front. And it's a different process than the examples that people were arguing in defense of, well, this company was acquired and they were saying they weren't going to get acquired, and then the next day they were acquired. So it's a little bit different because, if memory serves me right, those were privately traded, not public, like CD is.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a couple of Xbox game studios that denied being acquired, and then literally a week or two later they got acquired?
I
I'm
think
sure there's
Double
several
Fine one of
examples
them?
of it.
Most of them were private. With public companies, we get they'd lie to us, because but the board members, obviously they know, and the top shareholders would definitely know. But nothing is final till it's announced, and even then, you've got to stay on good terms throughout, because a merger can go sour. Like when Square and Enix merged, I think it was the Final Fantasy movie almost jeopardized that entire deal. Square made this animated Final Fantasy film, and it almost bankrupted them. And they were going through this merger with Enix, and the talks could have gone they were worried this merger wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, so Shinobi specifically cited Insomniac and Bluepoint as his two examples that were
Oh
denying,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
that were denying acquisition right before being acquired.
So it's possible, but if anything,
it's less
if
likely.
anything, I think CD Projekt Red would. I'm not saying I want this. I'm not saying it's going to happen ever. But if CD Projekt Red was going to be acquired, I'd see it more of Microsoft, not Sony. Microsoft has a caliber of Western RPG studios. CD Projekt Red marketed Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk with Microsoft. The sales were higher on Xbox, if I believe. for The Witcher 3. I can't confirm that or not.
Yeah, so that's the argument.
And Microsoft would be the company that would be like, okay, The Witcher 4 and whatever Cyberpunk you're all doing, that can still go on PlayStation, but the new IP that you guys make would be exclusive to us. Sony would never allow The Witcher or Cyberpunk to come to Xbox in that case. So I could see CD Projekt Red being acquired by Microsoft more than Sony, but you heard
At the moment,
everybody heard it themselves.
That was the exact argument as to why they wanted Sony to acquire specifically the Western, Microsoft already has a Western RPG, so let Sony get one to expand that side of their business, and that's why they should acquire try to acquire CD Projekt. I hate exclusivity. I just think it's bad for gamers. I don't know why I get why gamers celebrate it, but because they want to defend their piece of plastic. But I think it's stupid and really, really short-sighted for the majority of gamers. So I'm not the best person.
Praising it's awful. But... Celebrate the game to your heart's content. If you love the game and you're a content creator, shout it off the roost. But as soon as you talk about the exclusivity is great, that's when you start to jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
Well, it says CD Red is worth $5 billion. It said they made about $8 billion total, but they're worth about $5 billion as of last year. So
if Cyberpunk launched in a better state, they'd probably be at a higher.
Well, they were at $8 billion before Cyberpunk came out.
So you're talking around 10 to 12 billion at minimum for them to accept it, because they always want to jump over.
Well, yeah, I would probably say 8 to 10. I wouldn't go above 10.
That goes over Sony's market cap.
10 would Sony. That's what I'm saying. Sony would have to they'd be the low market. 8 billion, they wouldn't be able to do nothing for 3 years. Which that's not going to happen. So
Sony kind of shot themselves in the foot, because all they make is third-person action games, with different stories and skins. At this point, they used to have what was their FPS franchise, the Halo killer back in the day.
Killzone or
Killzone.
Resistance?
Killzone, yeah.
It was that Resistance were the two Halo killers.
I know they've got
very good job.
Bungie, but Bungie are more independent from Sony. They're just kind of helping out with studios.
Well, that's
I
the
think
reason why they bought Bungie was to fix the problem with first person.
The
Naughty Dog situation. They pretty much told the factions game this shit is trash. You're not releasing this. You're fixing this pretty much, and that's what I guess has been being told in the background. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, but it's all over the board, so I'm guessing it's probably true at this point.
The only Sony game that stands out is what's that racing franchise called? Gran Turismo. That's the only one that stands out from the
Sony specializes in third-person over-the-shoulder action games, the kind that Red likes, but it only.
I know that's simplifying the games, but it's when you boil it down, that's what they are.
My man, he says he loves Mass Effect, he loves The Witcher, it's over-the-shoulder. He's like, yeah, I love these type of games. Hey, Red, don't you want to try fighting? No. What about something like Diablo? No.
Wow.
Okay. Then what about Sony's games? They're third-person over the shoulder. No.
You would fit right in at Sony.
Wait. You like third-person games, but Sony's the king of them, and you're like, nah, not interested.
And I played them all, and I love them, and I beat them. Say something!
So you beat Demon's Souls? Returnal?
Well, no, because I played Dark Souls.
Clank, Rift Apart?
No, I don't like Ratchet and Clank. I'm not a fan of those. I did beat Diablo 3 by myself, and I realized I just don't want to do that again. I played Diablo 4, and I played it for about an hour, and it just wasn't fun. I don't know. It's just not for me. It would be fun playing with friends. I could be like, yo, we're all about to. I don't know. It's just not for me. I don't know. It's not for me.
I'm just giving Red a hard time. Yeah.
That's how I feel about Elden Ring.
Okay, well.
And it's an unpopular opinion. I don't like Elden Ring. I don't even like George R.R. Martin's writing.
I mean, that's fine.
No, it's totally cool.
Well, your fucking opinion's wrong, okay?
No, if I said that when it came out, I would be you're just trying to be edgy.
Nobody asked you, Assassin. Shut the fuck up.
Well, look. So it's about time for Mac to get out of here.
I want to throw in there. I just want to throw real quick before I know y'all. I'm going to transfer you guys over to the next topic. They said that
you.
Ratchet and Clank, Drift Apart is coming to PC.
Drift apart.
I like to call it the Drift Apart. It's a Drift Apart because it's you don't need because see they're taking it away because you don't need an SSD to run it on your PC.
Yeah,
so why would you need it
Digital
on your
Foundry
PlayStation?
proved this. They used
Yeah.
slower than they used slower SSDs purposefully.
So there's another point proving that they're bullshit. Don't listen to Sony. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Lexi, thanks for joining us. DeMarco VR still sucks, but see you later. Assassin, Rainbow Six is still trash. And Red, go play with yourself. So okay. Bye.
I will. I'm doing it right now. Love you. Bye, Mac. Everyone say
Goodbye,
goodbye,
love you.
Mac.
See you guys.
Bone. Pew, 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 pew,
Oh, real quick,
pew.
one more thing. I'm changing my gamer tag, so it might be a little bit different. So just a heads up. Bye.
Oh God.
All right, back
Truly-
mount.
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway.
Fantastic.
Yeah, just
So-
want to point out one thing. Siege has 80 million players. Forza only has 30. Boom. Better.
Okay. Let's calm down. Everyone, calm down. Sorry, as I adjust us here. Perfect. That looks exactly like it should. All right, so, I don't know what the hell. Look, well, hang on. We're not even done talking about this. So the Witcher 4 update. Now, DeMarco, we talked about this. I don't know what show it was. I don't know if it was this exact. No. We talked about layoffs. That's what it was. We talked about layoffs with that team. Now, I want since DeMarco, check out his channel in the description down below. Go subscribe right now, and I'll wait.
If
Okay.
you don't subscribe, he'll come to your house.
And he'll do
And
this.
he
And
will.
what- and
and
you
he
wake up, sleep in
will.
bed.
He will read you a bedtime story and tuck you into bed.
And he'll have that look on his face right there that he just had. You'll wake up to this. Done. Yeah.
He'll read the little book of Todd Howard's lies.
He'll
There
start
you
reading
go.
the book from Resident Evil Village, and the little
He'll
one wins in the
stroke
forest.
your hair, and he'll say, "Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies," and he'll start stroking your hair if you have hair. But hey, so we talked about that. But DeMarco, since you made a whole video on this, DeMarco, I want you to kick us away into the land of the Witcher 4.
Yes.
Tell us.
Let's go. Witcher 4. I a huge fan of The Witcher. Love The Witcher. Witcher's great. Geralt is awesome. Reading the books on Tower of Swallows. Really want to hop back in that world.
Yes. Sorry.
Tower of
Tower of
Swallows.
Swallows. Is that a prostitute, Dan?
It will be.
There's many prostitutes. If you like prostitutes, play The Witcher. There's several of them, especially in Witcher 1.
Yes.
Um,
Oh my God.
So-
he's banging.
Especially in Witcher 1.
Yeah, it's like kind of really fucked. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that
Yeah,
makes
game-
sense. It's the least accessible one.
that's when Geralt was more. It shows a lot of growth though. That's when Geralt was like
Yeah.
much more like all over the place, and then by Witcher 3, he's like, nah, I'm done with that stuff. So I really like the kind of you see him get older, not just physically, but with that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Witcher 4 recently, CD Projekt Red, the same place where the 50 million copies sold news came out and about. It was from the presentation that they gave to their shareholders. And other news, the major news to me that came out of that, other than the 50 million sales, which congrats CD Projekt Red, I really want to talk to one of the developers about some things. I would love to have that opportunity. I kind of want to just shoot my shot and try to reach out to some on Twitter. But they announced that there was a lot more developers that have moved on to the new Witcher project, the Witcher 4 Project Polaris. So there was some shifting around of other teams, and you could see in this image, you're able to see that the Cyberpunk 2077 support team has basically just gone down to a skeleton crew. You have things like Gwent, which is a Gwent team, which is shrunken down. You have the only project that grew, the only two projects that grew was the Phantom Liberty, because of course that's releasing later this year. So that has most of, and you could see the delineation between where the developers are split. Project Liberty has the most, followed by the next Witcher project. And if you line them up, which I did in my video, if you line them up and you just kind of cut out and slide it over, it's about 60%, 60 to 65% of the total staff that's working on Project Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, 65% of that total is working on the new Witcher game. So a large portion. Then if you add in the folks who are working on the multiplayer, you're looking at about 85 to 90% of the total staff that's working on Phantom Liberty are working on Witcher related projects. So that to me is just awesome. It's literally in active development. The game's already been in development for a year. Adam Kaczynski confirmed. So
did they show any status of like what they're doing about the next Cyberpunk?
Did they show any stats about the next Cyberpunk? No, they avoided talking about Cyberpunk too much. It was mostly focused on. I mean, Cyberpunk was there. Anything specific? Just like how many copies it sold, or
just like because I think they've talked about like a sequel or whatever.
Yeah. So there is that. This is confirmed. It wasn't nothing about the sequel. Is so. The projects that are not talked about at all, Projekt Orion, which is the Cyberpunk sequel, but it is planned.
Okay.
Project Hater, Project Hater, I think. It's definitely not it. I'm getting that wrong. But
Maybe?
There's a original IP. I'm just gonna call it Project H. That it was not mentioned whatsoever, and then the Witcher remake, Project
Serious?
Sirius, yes, thank you. Project Sirius, the Witcher remake, also was not listed in this chart. So I assume if there's anything being done for any of those three projects, most likely some team would be working on the Witcher remake, because that's coming after the Witcher 4. That would have been labeled under a category that they had, which was other projects.
Considering how far off it is, the Cyberpunk sequel, I think
nobody yet.
I'd imagine
Nobody
at
yet.
most there would be like 2 guys throwing around ideas.
It would be the equivalent of Todd Howard saying he has a one-pager for Fallout 5. Like, there's a concept, and they have, it's gonna happen, and here's maybe where it might take place.
Pretty much Todd Howard's Skyrim notes from like after Oblivion, before Fallout 3.
Yeah. It's
Where it's just like what he wants to do. He's like
doodling.
Use Elder Scrolls more. That.
Doodling one of the voodoo boys on a piece of paper saying, that would be good for the sequel. It's just like the picture, if anybody saw the most recent Guardians movie, when Peter Quill tries to draw a picture of, I think, Nebula or Gamora or someone, Nebula, and he holds it up, and it's just like a blob that's completely unrecognizable. And he goes, there it is! That's Project Orion. We got it.
Oh my god, I love that. Yeah, so... Oh, go ahead. Oh, that was it? Okay. Yeah, so... I don't... I guess... Okay, you know what? I won't... No. Assassin. Say something now.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, now say something.
Why? What's up?
There we
Why?
go.
What's going on?
Okay, The Witcher 3. Are you playing the game right now? Listen,
No.
I went chat to at Assassin. It's at ASS4SSIN on Twitter and say, quit playing damn games, Bushido Jr. on a podcast. Anyway.
I put down
I'm
Final
not
Fantasy.
playing anything.
I put down Final Fantasy for this.
Look at
It's
that.
actually-
Where do you
it's
see me not
loaded
playing
in- it's-
anything.
It's loading in the background, though. Can't stop me playing Final Fantasy, Wolf.
I can't. Well, you can just play it with one hand, so I get it. Assassin, look, Bushido's so surprised.
I'm sure you have practice playing games with one hand, Wolf.
I have. Look at me go. Shadowrun returns. You can play that game with one hand. I found out. You can just click, 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 click. So, Assassin, you say that you like The Witcher, but how much do you truly love it?
Same as Mass Effect. I'm playing it, but it just hasn't clicked yet. So eventually it will.
Would you drop your life to be the first one to get your hands on the future sequel?
Your life?
My
Yeah.
life?
Would you
What?
put your life on the line for that?
I would.
Like,
What
how
are the-
dedicated are you to this
what are the odds
franchise?
that you? What are the odds that you survive? Like, what?
Like, you have a chance of getting run over just to be first.
Yeah, but what's the percentage
You have a 90% if you run chance.
to
A
live or
90%
die?
chance to live or die.
No, to be the first. If you like throw
Yeah,
away your
but what's the
morals and start
percentage
sprint-
of? I think it's going.
He's saying, okay, all right.
What is
all
the
right,
what are the odds I get to play it? 90% chance I get it
90%
to play
to play.
first. That's great. But what are the odds in this situation if I say yes that I will die? 100%.
70-30.
No.
No!
What?
You've got good odds. Those are good odds.
What if it was
70?
10%?
10% chance to die. 90% chance I
90%.
get to play it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought you meant percent chance to live. I was gonna say.
No.
No, you have a 70% chance to live.
Still
Okay,
no.
so
I-
so
no.
Lexi's trying to gauge what. Look, I mean, I already have a lot of RPGs to catch up on and play. I'm playing Fable. I'm playing Mass Effect. I can't keep up with so many RPGs all at once. And for God's sakes, like what I said earlier with the Legend of Dragoon, if I forget to save, I'm just gonna be like, something else. I will go
Okay.
back to it
I
eventually.
always stick to
but-
one game.
Okay, so
I
let's just.
try to as well.
So let me just ask this. Okay, so Lex, The Witcher 3, you're a fan, or
Well,
no? Okay,
I have some
No.
Witcher 4 questions if we wanna keep to Witcher
please.
4.
That's literally what I was gonna
Okay,
say. I wanted
okay,
to talk
I have-
about. Yes.
I have Witcher 4. So there's two major things that are. One is the release date, which can be as soon as 2025, potentially. The soonest that we would see it is 2025, which is pretty exciting because he did say it will be about 3 years of development time, and it started about a year ago. So that's pretty cool. Might see it in just a couple years. Just a couple years. Probably not.
Unless
Probably
it gets
closer to
delayed.
2026. Probably closer to 2026 or 2027. But the good thing is they are saying that Unreal Engine is speeding up a lot of things, even though there's a learning curve. So Adam Kaczynski, the president, said that it's not necessarily slowing down development. It's just about the same because there's the expedited part of it plus the amount of the learning curve, so it kind of evens itself
Right.
out.
There's a
But the
chance
other
to be
thing-
higher.
It's like ramping. It's not like slowly. It's more like it's ramping. The more that you learn, the quicker that your development is going up. But it's
Exactly,
going
yeah.
slowly, but quickly at the same time. The acceleration is there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally get
and-
that. Yeah.
The other thing, though, was specifically as it ties to Unreal Engine, because it was a Lynx, by the way, Jake. Because the Unreal Engine is good at doing shooters specifically, and Unreal 5 has improved a lot of things. We saw most of fans are going to focus on the visual side of it, which is the most apparent to us as gamers, but it also improved in, it kind of works similar to actually the Creation Engine, where the Creation Engine loads
Yep.
in what's called cells.
cells, yeah.
Exactly. So it loads in
Board
cells.
spaces, stuff
and
like
Unreal,
that.
exactly. Unreal 5 now loads in cells as well, because one of the big problems with Unreal 4 is open world games, and we have quotes from Obsidian's CEO saying that Unreal Engine cannot handle RPGs because there's too much for it to load, from all the weapons and the armor and the items and the potions and all that other stuff, plus the world itself, plus all the NPCs and the monsters and everything at once. Unreal is not good at that. And
Redfall.
Oh, what about... There you go. Redfall's a good example. Someone will look at, say, Fortnite and go, oh, but that's open world. But it's very low resource intensive, so that doesn't count at all.
It's
And Redfall's
literally
first
one
person, so-
cell. Fortnite is one cell because the island you start on is literally, it's literally on the map. You just can't get to it.
Yeah, so
But it's literally
Fortnite
one
is
cell.
not... Fortnite's not an argument about it, but the concern being...
Yeah.
Is Unreal 5 actually a good switch for The Witcher to move to? We don't know because we really haven't seen a lot of Unreal 5. Have we seen what as there's been like
no.
one game that's launched on
No.
Unreal 5.
Since I'll put it into perspective, since I've started game development, Unreal 5 we started 2021,
Mhm.
end of 2021. So Unreal 5 didn't go public till the following year, so 2022. is when it went public. So there's no way the games you're seeing that running on Unreal Engine 5 are games that were built in Unreal Engine 4 and then ported over to Unreal Engine 5. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
it's like,
So
we're starting on the 360, let's port to the Xbox One.
Yeah, so is Unreal going to ultimately be a good move for The Witcher and have the upgrades to work in cells and to do those things? Is that actually going to benefit for The Witcher, or are we good? Because the Red Engine's good. I mean, the Red Engine, obviously it struggled with Cyberpunk, so we don't know whatever they might want to do with The Witcher 4.
It's good.
We don't know. Proprietary is hard to work with. Yeah.
Because you're the one who has to modify it. It's only if you're like Bethesda and you've got something very, very specific that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just use Unreal or Unity, one of the two.
Yeah, not Unity, because that's better for smaller projects.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the things that Unreal 4 struggled with as well was just when you had that much stuff, the engine itself would just start breaking down, is what developers were saying. It would become basically unusable, and it would almost not, I don't think they said it would crash, but it would just be such a frustrating experience. It could be stuttering and loading, and it couldn't process all that information at one time. So that's what I would love to get a more definitive stance from CD Projekt Red on how Unreal 5 fixes some of those problems and how it does things that Red Engine wouldn't be able to do. Because that's my concern.
Didn't they say
right
when they announced they were switching originally? Didn't they talk about they were talking with Epic to try and help them improve stuff for the engine for like RPG specifically?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but that in and of itself now is The Witcher 4 acting as a beta test basically for open world RPGs, and is that something that should be cause for concern?
It could be really, really great. Like The Witcher 4 could be this hit title of all of these great new features, but on the other hand, what if it all falls apart?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, on the one hand, I would want to argue that CD Projekt Red or other Epic Games is going to be like, let's make this work, because if we can make it work here, then it's going to be a shining example for all these other developers that want to build open world games with our engine, right? So on the one hand, I would hope that Epic is not just a partner, but actively involved with trying to make that work. But again, I don't know if I'd be excited to see Witcher 4 as a beta test for RPGs in Unreal 5.
Yeah, you don't want to test the legacy things. You don't want to test with your no, we're not gonna talk about Star Wars. But look, yeah. So The Witcher 4. So okay, so there's the engine talk, things I know nothing about, and I'm glad that there are two people on the panel tonight that know what they're talking about, because I don't know anything about anything. So
I read this all today. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, good. So we're all learning together.
I was looking into all this engine stuff this morning at 7 a.m.
That is some great insight, and Lex, thank you for your insight on that, because both of you know. By the way, Bethesda engine loading in cells, exactly why you will be able to walk around your ship once the space in Starfield. But
you are attached to that.
Yeah,
go let it go, man.
Yep. No,
go let it go.
I can't. I'm never letting go.
Your therapist keeps telling you gotta let it go.
Listen, chat. I'm gonna put a poll. Okay. I'm gonna put a poll right now. This is. I'm not going off topic, but
he's not going off topic. But
do you guys think that we will be able to walk around the inside of our ship, a la Mass Effect, while it is in space? Okay.
Please ignore Red Wolf. Please.
Ignore Wolf. Up a poll now.
Look, he's killed the Marco dude.
I'm trying to type. I keep fucking it up. We walk on the inside of our ship while I can't type. I can't see. My eyes are so bad. Wow.
Okay, so you know what? Another thing that's really cool about video games is the part where we have Assassin read the description.
There you go.
God damn it, DeMarco. I was hoping he'd for cats.
Yeah, but I didn't, so...
So, look. I'm going to add a new rule to this. Now, listen. Assassin. the goal here
Yeah.
is you just read these descriptions as if nothing is weird, okay? Okay, and if you don't think
That's
it's
gonna
funny,
be a bit hard, Red.
listen, if you don't think it's funny, do not laugh, okay? Do not laugh, okay? Because that's not the goal. The goal is to read something as ridiculous as my fucking insane brain works when coming up with this stupid shit, to just read it as calmly as possible. That's it. Dumbledore asked calmly. If anyone gets
You're
that
hoping
reference.
I'm gonna laugh though. You're hoping I am.
Harry Potter!
I love that.
Good reference. Good reference.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, let's break it up here. Assassin, when you're ready to go, it's time to read the description.
You know, we should start doing this at the beginning so that way people are not confused as to why I'm reading that. But alright.
So, if anyone is confused, Assassin is now going to read the description of this episode. Each episode, Assassin will read the description of said episode, being the one that is on right now, if you're confused about that. And what he's going to do is try to just read it like a normal person, like nothing's weird about it whatsoever, because there is nothing weird about it at all. And the reason he's doing this is because no one's going to read it unless he reads it for you. So you're welcome.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright. Alright, fine. I'm just gonna read this as calmly as I can. Alright, cool. Alright. Today we will be talking about our PlayStation Showcase reactions, Spider-Man 2 gameplay reveal, Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, Dragon's Dogma 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage gameplay, Gollum game reviews, Witcher 4 updates, next PlayStation Showcase later this year, as rumored, and much more. What did you think about the latest PlayStation Showcase? Are you excited for Spider-Man 2? Are you upset that we didn't see Wolverine? Do Wolverines only have 3 claws? Does that mean they only have 3 fingers? Is a Wolverine as jacked as Hugh Jackman? They should have called him Hugh They should have called him Huge Jacked Man. I'm pretty sure he does have 5 fingers on each hand, so maybe Marvel should have went with a more intimidating animal rather than something that looks like a raccoon made love to a badger after a rough night at Hooters. Fuck! I can't read it calmly. No!
What description is
I almost
that?
got attacked by a raccoon this weekend. Until a family member kicked it across the field. I think his name was Jerry, the raccoon, not the family member. Now that I think about it, I actually don't even know who that guy was. All Jerry wanted was a hot dog. But they say the majority of meat that's in hot dogs is shredded up horse and pig skin. I don't remember even mentioning anything about dogs. But I guess they couldn't necessarily just call it a cylindrical horse pig skin meatloaf stick. That is not family friendly. Do you like hot dogs? Let us know down in the comments. Red, what the fuck are you on?
So that actually happened. Yesterday, actually.
Wait,
Memorial
someone
Day.
named someone named Jerry kicked the raccoon.
What?
No, Jerry is the raccoon. So funny
So
story.
you
Thank
kicked
you,
someone's
Assassin,
pet
for that.
raccoon.
Alright, I'm done.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that. And really, yesterday, so we're at a family get-together, and we're under this big pavilion in the middle of the wilderness, the Appalachia.
I think I like that.
and,
Fuck.
And no, you're here. And a family member says, "Y'all see that raccoon over there?" And it's probably like 50 yards away. And I'm like, "Oh, holy shit!" I actually, like when someone points something out, you're in the middle of the fucking woods, and they go, and you go, "You see that over there?" And you go, "Where?" And they go, "It's by that tree over there." And you're like, "We're in the middle of the woods, and you asked me to look beside the tree over there." Okay, so anyway, so there's that out of the way. I actually happened to see the raccoon immediately, and he's like literally like behind a tree, like, and I'm like, all right, this is not. He doesn't like. I know that he sees us, but he's like 50 yards away, and I'm like, okay, it's totally fine. So I have my dog with me, Finn, and he's a big baby. So, long story short, we just keep doing our thing, talking and chatting, and I keep getting this feeling like I need to look over my shoulder to see if that raccoon is still there. This raccoon is now even closer, doing the same thing around the tree, like, and I'm like, okay, this raccoon is not fucking around. So it keeps coming closer and closer and closer to the point where it is now out of the tree line in this big clearing outside of the pavilion. And so there's kids around. I got my son with me, my furry son, other than not assassin, but my other son, furry son, Finn. And I'm like, a raccoon, I don't know if you guys have seen, raccoons will fuck up an animal, especially dogs. It is not okay. They are like defenseless against raccoons.
Did you guys hear me read the whole thing, or did I cut out?
No, the whole thing is there. Yeah, you did good. Yeah, so we thanked you. Yeah. So, long story short, a raccoon comes out of the clearing, and I'm holding my dog, of course. And so these other two dudes, good old boys, as I'll call them, come sprinting out of the pavilion. One has a stick, and the other one just has nothing. And I'm like, what is he going to do? So the raccoon comes sprinting at the dude with the stick, runs past the dude, and he kicks, and the raccoon flips, goes flying through the air, and then starts running at the dude with the stick, and he starts like freaking out, swatting at it and all that. And I'm like, oh, he had to kick the thing, but it was fine. It took like almost a full 3.5 minutes to get that thing out of the clearing, and the kids were freaking out. Finn was crying, I was crying, and raccoons are dangerous. And all we had to do, I kept telling everyone, all he wanted was a hot dog. If we would have just thrown him a hot dog, he would have taken that thing and just ran off. Been happy. We would have never. You didn't need to kick the damn raccoon, Jerry. Or no, wait, Jerry was the raccoon.
Did you know raccoons are actually one of the cleanest animals?
Look at
they
that.
keep themselves very clean. Yeah.
Did you know that a raccoon can fit up in a hole that's 8 inches in size, and the butthole is 4 inches inside?
Do you know how I know this, by the way?
You
Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh.
Everyone should watch Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Jim Carrey is a national treasure.
I've watched it 3 times. It is a great video game adaptation. So
Yeah. Everyone's
No, if he was the national treasure, if he was a national treasure, then you would have him trying to be stolen by the actual national treasure. That
Indiana
we all
Jones?
love. No.
No, Nicolas Cage from the movie National
Yes!
Treasure.
Yes.
Who's Nicholas?
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
We're on the same page.
who's Nick Cage?
Okay. Anyway, so
So Gollum. So we got that out of the way. Fantastic. So we got good pacing this show. So let's just talk about. So Gollum is a game that should have never came out. And I don't ever like to be rude, and I won't be rude. But this is like the worst case in comparison to Redfall's release. When I said, who looked at this and said, sure, looks good. Let it go, let it be released.
Yeah, and meanwhile, everybody at Bethesda Austin is just like,
yeah, exactly.
We have at least another 4 days before we need to.
Redfall is no longer the worst reviewed game this year.
Yes, that is the headline.
Tears of the Kingdom's great launch.
Towards.
Yes.
The PlayStation dud case. Now Gollum has completely wiped out Redfall talk from everybody.
Yeah, which for what it's worth, I don't think Redfall ever really deserved. It wasn't. I rated it a 4 out of 10 in my review. 5 being an average score on my channel. An average game is 5. I gave it a 4 out of 10, slightly below average. But I don't think it deserved to be the worst game ever that it was getting. Gollum, however,
I don't get Gollum because what they said it during Lord of the Rings, or is it The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? They said it during one of the films when they're on their quest.
Yeah, it was.
And it's like I'd rather see Gollum like before. I'd rather see Smeagol how he became Gollum. Like that is something that was talked about in the book. I would have liked to see that, like the developer's interpretation of what happened, like how he killed his brother.
And then think of how well that could have lent itself as like a Telltale series type game, as opposed
exactly.
to this stealth experience. Like there's interesting stories that could have been done, and these developers just completely missed them. I don't know how much you guys looked into the reviews of it, but I watched a little bit where it was, oh my god, he was really popular for talking about the Bethesda Providence Equity. I know him, his name is slipping my mind. Jake something? No. Anyway, he was talking about how like they Luke Stevens. Luke Stevens.
Yeah.
Lucy, I knew him. The name was just slipping my mind. He was in his review. He was talking about how there's a fire effect, and you could literally see the top of the fire effect clipping. Like it hits and then it gets cut off here because they just didn't put it in the game right. And then the text, you have to pay additional to get the big ensemble of information about the Lord of the Rings universe, which is ridiculous because that's just a normal feature for like most games. So you pay extra to get this massive ensemble of information of Middle Earth, and then it's cut halfway. Like the screen, if this is your whole screen, right? It cuts like here, where the text is only this instead of taking up the full thing, and it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And then there's grammar mistakes in it too. It's just,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm listening. Donnie just killed me. Donnie says he was Smeagol until he asked for a hot dog in the Appalachians and he got kicked into Middle Earth. His bitterness made him go. Sorry, that killed me.
Oh my god.
Killed me. I'm sorry. DeMarco, please continue.
No, that
yes,
was it. It's just a shame. It's just a shame because I don't think anybody wants to look at something like this and go, oh yeah, I'm glad the developer. I mean, there's some people out there and they just suck.
Gollum
those people are just horrible.
He moves weird, and I get like the whole point. I don't mind his design. And by the way, his hair physics actually break the game, because the streamer I watched, the person that gave him the key said, "Do not turn on hair physics." What does he do? Oh, I'm going to turn the hair physics on.
Yeah, like you shouldn't. That's not. You don't launch a game if you know the whole thing is broken. Like, and that's why everyone's criticizing. Although there were a lot of really funny memes that came out of it. We don't want it. We don't needs it.
You actually have to pay for the My Precious emote. You have to pay for it.
Why are there emotes?
Yeah, it's
like, what was the plan? Boil them.
This is Warner Brothers. This is how Warner Brothers attempt to get money.
Boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew.
Yeah, I mean they did it with
one of the reviews.
They did it with Hogwarts Legacy. They locked behind that Dark Arts arena behind an edition.
I know you're reading Yodani's
I know,
messages.
He's killing me, Yodani. I love you, man.
And then there were a lot of really great memes that came out where it'd be like General Grievous, and he was taking the apology letter because when Lord of the Rings Gollum came out, afterwards they're like, we're sorry, we didn't, it launched in this state, we love the IP and we love the project.
Lord
blah, blah, blah,
of the Ring, by the way, they called it Lord of the Ring in their apology letter.
Okay, Lord of the Ring in their apology letter, so they didn't do that. So they messed that up.
It's even worse.
They're rushing to get that out soon, and then they have an image of General Grievous like, another one for the collection. Like, this will make a fine addition to my collection, and it's just a bunch of apology statements that is from all the studios.
I don't blame them at all.
I love that.
Because there's been so many studios that are like, oh, we're sorry that this game launched this way.
Factions
and it's like
recently
so
too, being like,
exhausting.
due to the development and the shift and change, the Witcher 4 just happened, the Last of Us faction just happened, where they're like, sorry, we just need to go in different directions.
And so General Grievous is storing them away.
I love that.
Wait, Red.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog made actual history. They released an apology video before the game even came out.
Before the game, right?
Before
exactly.
the game came out.
And the funny thing about that one too is, I know it's not part of our list of topics today, but the funny thing, it was only because because they asked for a statement because why can't I do names tonight are just not working in.
Well, let me help you.
Asked for a statement.
They the guy who leaked all the Fallout 4 stuff.
Jason Schreier?
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Jason
okay.
Schreier. Jason Schreier asked for a
That's funny
statement
guy.
from Naughty Dog, and that was the only reason, allegedly, that was the reason that they said something, and they came out with a formal statement after that. I didn't look deeper into it than what I was seeing online, but that's what I was seeing.
His
It's
name
so-
was Jerry the Smeagol Kicker.
That was
This is what happens when I read the description. It gives you Donnie a ton of ammunition.
Do you know what's worse? The streamer I was watching, his chat said the font is a generic font you can just grab and bold, and he put on your screen.
Yeah.
Strangle Gollum until he like asphyxiates. And people would come into the stream and be so confused why these objectives were so absurd.
because he had it like posted like on like an overlay,
Yeah.
like the objective.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Oh my god, I love that. Like jump
But
off
he
the
added
bridge.
some legit looking ones just so it looked a bit more.
Yeah, the thing. I guess my takeaway from this is that, okay, just to be clear, I was never really excited about this, just because I didn't really feel interested. But DeMarco brought up a good point where it would have been cool to have like a more intimate, a serious-ish story, because Lord of the Rings, you know, with Shadow of War games, I mean, Lord of the Rings in general, like, you have all the room in the world to have fun and make fun and
Yeah.
be silly and whatever, but it is really serious and really, really sad, especially Smeagol. Out of all the characters, it's like, it's super tragic, and I would have liked a much more serious story to sort of elevate his character in a way to where then you go back and you watch the movies, you go, man, I feel bad for him. Luckily I played the game.
That's why I'm saying like an origin would have been good, because in Tolkien's writing, and Tolkien's writing, it's just like the ring instantly. Oh, just one my mic. The ring instantly got him to kill his brother, and it's like I'd like more depth to that. I know he kind of
like
you
his
know, he had to-
remorse and like his like crying himself to
how
sleep
he got
in the cave.
expelled, and then slowly you can have some time jumps in there and just show
Yeah, of
how
course.
Gollum, his alter ego, like formed,
Right.
like how
Right.
you know,
they
stuff
just
like
sort
that.
of made, I don't know if you
Who
guys have ever
was
seen the game.
Smeagol?
Right, exactly.
It's like Calibrimlord, the liberties they took with the Ring's creator, they could take those liberties with, because we basically know little about Gollum's origin. We just know what
Right.
happened.
Which
So
I
there's
think
so
is
much
better.
they could
To
do.
be fair, I think is better that way. Like I'm not a fan of every single character, personally speaking, every single character, and us knowing every origin story for all of them. I like the mystery.
It's always going to
do
be
continue.
It's going to be like a developer's interpretation of what could have happened. It's like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Those games technically aren't even like part of the canon because Tolkien didn't write them. It would be like that. It wouldn't really take away. I don't think it would take away. Like exploring who Smeagol was.
Instead,
Right.
whenever you see Gollum in the movies now, you're going to be thankful for his hair physics.
You're right, exactly. Like, remember when he had hair? It's like, don't want to remember that. Yeah, so I would have liked to see a much more serious take on it, not just I don't know if you guys remember the game. It's called Styx with a Y and an X.
Master Shadows.
That's edgy.
Master of Shadows. Yeah,
Yep.
it is like
I never
the Dark
played it, but I know
Souls of stealth games. It's super hard. I just like gave up on it. I banished it to the Shadow Realm, meaning I hid it from my list of owned
Who
games.
doesn't?
um,
Sorry, I was reading
But-
that comment.
that's sort of what this game reminded me of, and it's really a shame because I would have liked to see something more with a little more levity. Well, maybe that's not the right word to use, but you know, something that sort of makes you feel a little something where you thought you wouldn't.
It feels like an
wanna
Uncharted
feel-
game with like all this like leaping from, or like Tomb Raider where you're like leaping across ledges and
Yeah, right. Same thing in
or like
Styx. Yeah. So yeah. Any other thoughts on this? The Lord of the Rings IP seems to be very mistreated after this. Whatever the devs were going for, it didn't hit. It didn't hit. I don't think for people.
I think the studio was more to blame for this. And I think the game just wasn't ready. This is like alpha, like very early beta stuff.
Yeah, it's just I feel bad for the developers that worked on this, like as always, but it's just there's a sorry developers, but there's also I could have been a paying consumer who might have paid like $50 for this game, and this is what I would have gotten. So there's that two sides, and there's humans behind every project that you can't forget that element of it. But
if they were a Japanese developer, we'd have no end of apologies by now. We would have like 50 pages of just translators translating the word sorry 50 times. Like the Japanese are like that. They really, but the translators are like, we don't do that in the West. You get your one post.
I will say, yeah.
But Square Enix never apologizes
There
for
was-
their shitty games.
You should
never
write it in a
apologize for
letter. You should write
Avengers.
them a letter.
Sometimes they do.
I'm sorry, but
don't
I have
they-
to apologize about how sorry you are, and it's such a sorry state of sorrowful apologies.
We're talking about a publisher who threw Crystal Dynamics under the bus when Avengers flopped.
I mean, they sold
Yeah.
them, so I mean that's a bigger.
And then
And they're
Rise
like,
of the
"Oh,
Tomb
we
Raider.
don't
want you
oh
anymore."
My God.
They sold off Tomb Raider, Legacy of Kain, and so was it
Yeah.
Soul Reaver? Either way, they sold
like
them
it-
off
well,
for
both,
FoamStars and Babylon's Fall.
At least we can get another Deus Ex game finally. Because Square was
Oh, yeah,
never
I
gonna.
forgot, yeah.
Square was never gonna make an
That's
event.
a rumor, by the
Eidos
way.
were-
That's a
Isn't
rumor
that
that
what
that's
Eidos
been in
is working on?
development for almost 2 years, by the way.
Oh, please,
yes.
please be good. Please be more like the classic. Please, praise proven you
Yes.
can do
Yes.
old school stuff.
I love
Please.
Deus Ex.
Never played Deus Ex. I got
Okay.
Mankind Divided.
The
by Zoom
original
next
is like amazing.
Here's an interesting
Super
question though for everybody. One thing that the Lord of the Rings Gollum, and this is the last thing I have to say about the topic, but one thing that the Lord of the Rings Gollum did spark a lot of conversation around was the idea that gamers are, and I'm gonna really misquote this, so I'm gonna put it in a bad light, but gamers are slightly entitled, and studios should not apologize for bad launches because that incentivizes us to continuously
bitch.
demand
Yeah.
that we get apologies. So, an unpopular opinion, but I really wish as an industry we would stop apologizing profusely for mediocre launches and slip dates. We need to stop perpetuating this notion that game companies are the servants of gamers.
That I would
I-
100% agree with that, but there's a stipulation there. Then do not promise features that you're either going to remove. Do not promise us a release date if you think there's going to be a delay. Do not give us promises and then go back on it and expect us to be okay with it.
It's not the developer's choice. Usually, those things are up to the publisher. Like they will say, "You've got till now. You've got till this point to do the game. Can you do this?" And it's more of a rhetorical question of, "Oh, you have to say yes, we can do this." Because
Right,
if you say no, they're gonna say, "Right, you're getting replaced."
Right, and I think that's where a lot of the times damage control sort of gets out of hand, which, I mean, I don't really know what else to call it, but that does happen a lot where they say, as a developer, these are our plans, this is what we're going to do, and then they get onto it, and they really, really want to make it good, they need more time to make it good, it's taken too long, and then the publisher says, you need to stop that right now. And then they go, shit, like, but we said that we're going to do it. It's like, well, tough shit. You need to cut it from the game. And then they're not going to go and make an apology statement saying, well, Take-Two said that we couldn't put in titty physics in GTA 6. So it's their fault. That's their publisher. You know what I mean? They're not going to go after their own people. So it's just the way that
Yeah,
it's,
but
it's just really
GTA 5
unfortunate.
already had that, but only in
It did
single
have it.
player.
That was a bad example.
Only in single player.
Yeah.
In multiplayer,
Well, yeah,
So
the publisher is deserved to be held to the fire, but there are some studios that probably made the decision for the publishers as well. 343 is a good example.
I agree to an extent, but like with what we saw, No Man's Sky is the easiest example for me to use. Or the developers. Gamers are toxic. I'm gonna say that a majority of
offended.
gamers are toxic.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Wolf.
upsetting Bushido. I'm sorry, Bushido, for upsetting you. Mass Effect is great. I love it. Maybe that'll get me back on your list.
There you go. Mass Effect is the greatest.
Yes.
Mass Effect's the greatest. So here's an interesting reply from Dinga Bakaba, and if you don't know who that is, Dinga Bakaba, I love him. He's
friend of the
amazing.
show.
He is
Yeah,
one of
he's
the
been on
higher
here.
ups at Arcane Leon.
Yeah, he's a creative director at Arcane Leon. He responded to this in 2 tweets. He said, "I don't get it. Are we mocking devs that are sorry to have underwhelmed their fans for one reason or another? How is that helping? How is that funny/bad? Would people prefer awkward silence when you slip, in both sense of the term? Because we do slip, we aren't machines. I don't know in the rest of the world," and this he directly quote tweeted what I read before, but he said, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in France, when you find hair in your meal or it's way too salty and you complain, the chef will come to your table and apologize and generally recook the meal for you. So there's that interesting cultural barrier as well that comes into
Yeah.
play.
That's a really, really good comparison there.
I
Yeah.
absolutely loved that he made that tweet.
Yeah, and I think, here's Jake in the chat. Shout out to you, Jake. Thanks for being here, buddy. He says, 100% disagree with that. Don't promote a game to be a certain way, then release nothing what they promised. Redfall cinematic trailer compared to real game is polar opposites. I mean, there is 2 conversations there. I have said before, I am not a fan of cinematic trailers. I mean, it's not that I'm not a fan of them. Sorry, let me just stop myself there. I like cinematic trailers if they portray the game how they're going to be. And I knew that Margot was going to come out. I do understand. But I think the whole conversation here, Jake, is the fact that a lot of people are constrained to the business side of game development, and it's not as free as like a lot of indie games. There are so many indie darlings out there that are not held to the AAA standard, where they have all this money on the line, and they're calling investors, and they're having to. They're just making what they want to make with no restrictions, and even look at No Man's Sky. I know it's a weird comparison, but
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is an indie game. Look at it now. Holy shit!
I was going to bring this up earlier. The problem with No Man's with the gamers being toxic is all those devs got death threats over No Man's Sky.
Unacceptable.
Exactly.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
And what did Sean Murray do? Well, he rewrote everyone's texts, emails, calls, all to his devices, so his team didn't have to deal with that. That's the first thing he did, and then they got to work to fixing the game. But yes, he made all these promises, but he was also he was almost forced to say these things, because the media, every time he was in an interview, they were like, "So can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? What can you do now?" And he was speaking what you could do at the time or what was planned. But obviously when Sony got involved, you get to the same problem as having a publisher. It's out of your control at that point. You can't. They got their delay for like 6 months or something, or 3 months. But they didn't want to ask for more, because Sony could have been like, "We've invested millions into your game." It's a big... They guilt trip them into it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
most
so-
people don't know that. So who are they going to blame? They're going to blame the actual developers,
But
not
it's-
the
it's-
publisher. Some do, but some also don't.
I think gamers, before they start pointing fingers, they should at least look into the topic first. I know
At
it's
least
easy
talk
to
to
be
people behind the
rageful,
scenes.
but this is all stuff you can look online. Most of what I've learned is just living online, I guess. I knew
That's-
quite a lot of stuff before I was what I classed as a developer. It's more like a new developer.
One thing I will say, I don't think there's a ton of toxic gamers. I think there is a vocal majority. But in terms of like every gamer on the planet, I think the toxic percentage, I think it's probably around 10-15% of all gamers, in my opinion. And plus, the 85% that are not always toxic, they still have some semi-toxic mindsets, like me and Mac earlier. I continuously bash Forza to him, and he bashes Siege to me, but that's the kind of semi-toxicity that we just get over with. We're friends, we joke about it, we mean what we say, but we're not trying to hurt each other by saying it. And like I said before, there are some studios that have the creative freedom and autonomy to actually make those decisions that the publishers would let them make those decisions instead. Like I mentioned earlier, 343 with Microsoft. We all know how hands-off Microsoft is with their studios. What did Bonnie Ross and the heads at 343 promise us back in 2015 that they would not do again? They would not launch Halo Infinite without co-op. And what did they do? They launched it without it. They launched it without Forge. They promised campaign DLC. They completely scrapped that. I'm not saying that the developers should be completely at fault for the decisions they make later on, but people have a right to be upset. I mean, it's like your parents telling you that you'll eventually go to Disneyland. They'll say, don't worry, we're going to go this year, we're going to go this year, we're going to go this year. And then once those promises are broken, you're not going to trust them again. You're just going to okay, yeah, sure, whatever. That's how you lose faith that's how consumers lose faith in the people that make the games. Same developers and publishers alike. We just need to know who's the one that made these decisions. If it's much easier to target one person than the whole team, and I know a lot of people. I know Red and I, we both didn't like The Last of Us Part 2 at all, but we're not going to blame everybody at Naughty Dog and Sony for that fuck up.
You won't.
We won't. It's more or less a group of people or one person making those decisions, and those are the people that we have an issue with. Not the whole team and not the whole publisher. You guys gonna get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good take. I hear you.
Yeah, like same with Cyberpunk. No one blamed the whole studio for that screw up. It was one person or a group of people. Same with Fallout 76. It wasn't Todd Howard's fault. It was a whole selection of people.
Right.
We just want to know who those people are, and then remind them what promises mean.
Wait,
If you had to make a separate decision, then tell us why. Don't just say, "Oh, we're going to cut this from the game." Okay, that's fine. Tell us why. Is there something wrong with the engine? Does it not fit narratively into what you're trying to make? Just give us the reason why. Then we'll accept it. I think transparency between the studio and the fans are completely. I think that's completely fair to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm like conflicted with my statements.
Say it. Just get it out
well,
there.
yeah, because you're a developer.
I'm a
but you're also
developer, but I'm
consumer.
also a gamer. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew this would probably confuse you a bit because I know.
It's
what
more
you're
of
going
an
through. I'm not gonna
internal
complicate it.
conflict.
Yeah, I don't mean to complicate it for you, Lexi. I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
consumer, so that's how I see it.
I think developers should make promises because saying stuff a few years out is a recipe for disaster. Because what happens at the beginning of development, that feature might get cut. That feature might not exist. It might be on paper. They want to add it. Can they add it? They don't know yet. They're like, this is going to be, oh, we can do this. We think we can do this. It's definitely going to be there. Why wouldn't it be there? And then later on they realize, if we're going to get this project out, we need to cut stuff.
Right.
And then you start running, and then they can't explain why this thing will get cut because it falls under their NDA. They can't actively talk about what's going on internally. They can. Yeah. It's complicated. If the NDA wasn't there, it'd be easier to just say, "Hey,
To just say why.
we just can't." But with the NDA in place, it's like you can say
like
it's
you can't
being
say
cut,
anything.
but you can't. Yeah, you can't say anything.
Or you can't say why. Well, okay, if that's going to be like you said, the NDAs are a majority of the problem. Well, there's two studios that I would like to point out, and I know, I think Red and DeMarco may agree with me, although I'm not sure how much they like the studios or the games themselves. From Software and Rockstar, they don't say any promises, or they don't make expectations for their games. It's just like, here's a game, you may or may not like it, go play it, tell us what you think, and enjoy. They did that with Elden Ring and RDR2.
I don't.
Well,
I mean,
the thing
Rockstar is a bit
there's an
iffy
Well,
because
Rockstar shows they do show expectations with their games.
Let me say this.
didn't they mess up with Red Dead Online though, where they were like they
Yes.
basically completely Okay, I don't
so-
know the story
that's
behind
fair.
Red Dead Online, but if I remember correctly, I remember hearing that they just kind of abandoned it in
They
favor of
just let
GTA
it
Online.
die, yeah.
Yeah, they abandoned
But
GTA.
but
Pretty much, there was a next gen version that was all planned, that was in development, and
A remaster
then
of
Red Dead
RDR1.
Online, just
I mean,
tanked. The thing is, you can't just add. GTA Online works so well because they've taken liberties with the story. It was set before story mode, now it's set after.
Okay, yeah, I take back what I said about Rockstar.
DeMarco,
From
go
Software.
ahead, because
This-
you and I might be on the same page. Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
well, no, that was just an argument because Assassin was saying that Rockstar doesn't set expectations, or they're just like, here's the game, here's what it is, and then so
Yeah,
that
no,
was
I
just
take
an
that
argument against that specifically to Rockstar. I will agree with you with From Software. From Software does what Bethesda used to do. At least from what I see, and I'm not huge into From Software games. I played Elden Ring. I liked Elden Ring. I played some Dark Souls 3. I liked Dark Souls. I did beat either of them, but I did enjoy those games when I did play them. And they do what Bethesda does, or Bethesda used to do, where it was just kind of, here's the game, and we show it, and this is what you're getting. They did that with Skyrim. They did that with Fallout 4. And they had to change it up for Fallout 76 because it was a different beat. They tried to do it for Fallout 76, but that needed different because of the multiplayer, and they couldn't really do it with Starfield because they announced it so early. But point still remains, that's what they used to do, and From Software is kind of in a similar vein, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Miyazaki and his team, they don't do interviews with the media at all. They just make the game, they go home, and then rinse and repeat. Pretty much. And I kind of think about it. Could we add Kojima to that list by chance?
Yes,
does
and
he
this
set
is okay.
expectations?
So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I have to interrupt you. I have to get my, I have to say this.
Go ahead.
To Kojima, to the Kojima point, to the Bethesda point, to the Rockstar point, there is a bigger difference whenever it comes to what people are supposed to say to keep people interested or calm the hell down with, again, the apology letters or whatever, to a bigger company with a pedigree of games that you know exactly what you're getting with them. You know the quality, you know the content, you know the theme, you know what you're going to get with this. We just talked about, me and Lex and I were on the show with Starfield Signal talking about the pedigree of Bethesda games, and I call it the Bethesda template. I've talked about it 1,000 times. A developer like Rockstar in Bethesda, you know exactly what you're going to get from them, and they're very open about that. Todd Howard has said, Starfield's going to be exactly what you'd expect from us, just like Elder Scrolls, just like Fallout, but it's going to be in space. And people are like, "Oh, hope it's good," and it's like, What do you mean? You hope it's good? So you just don't you don't like space games? Then is that it? Because that's the only difference. Of course, there are a lot of added features into that. So look at something like Rockstar, where they're making GTA, the Grand Theft Auto, like the biggest thing next to Call of Duty in the world of gaming, and then. Yes, so of course they can do whatever the fuck they want to do, and now Take-Two are looking at monetary. They're looking at monetary options and how to diversify that market, and they totally screwed it up with Red Dead Online. Let's monetize this. Let's make this good. It's not working out. It's not working out because you're not listening to your fan base. The thing is, unfortunately, they don't need to because they're making so much money anyway from GTA Online, and that's just that's where the business side of it sort of comes in, the ugly side of the industry. But when it comes to these smaller teams, I understand that they have to say something, but when you say something, it has to have some substance to it. So I think the comparison between these giants in the industry versus these smaller teams making things like Gollum, and the return from that is
the studio I'm working at. You don't know what you're going to expect. Like I'm a writer on it. I can't talk about anything else. But unless you're on the team, like you don't know what to expect from my game.
Are you
And
gonna be able to tell us when your game's gonna be revealed? Like when it happens, like the day before it happens, or the day it's happening?
there might be teasers, but
You're working on Mr. Matty Plays game. Say it.
Mr. Matty
What?
Plays is making a game. No,
Yeah,
no.
we're-
He's making it. What?
He talks about it all the time. I don't know.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says he's
Just all of
developing a game.
Bethesda's content.
I
creators
have to
working on a
dance
game?
around. I have to dance around my words a lot.
That's fine.
But
Just
it's
imagine
it's a
Marco
new
and
it's a
Red.
new it's a new studio, so
I'm
it's
just-
not
really-
one you'd ever know.
Okay, Red. Now you got me thinking that Mr. Matty Plays. He's going around to all the Bethesda content creators and like, hey, I'm making a game. Do you want to join? It's just. a bunch of
What's this
Bethesda
production
Yeah, he
guys.
actually
studio
asked
called?
me. I turned him down.
What's this development
You
studio
did.
called?
I said I was too good.
Damn.
Yeah, so-
No,
no.
I like Matty. I like Matty, and I like his content.
The studio will be
Oh.
called Mustache Related Games.
It will be called Mr. Matty Hires People.
Yeah, look, let's not rip too hard on Matty, but I am very curious
No,
because he
Matty's
says that
great.
he says I am a developer, I'm developing a game, my team, and blah blah blah. What does that exactly mean? We don't know. I don't know. I'm not a
We don't
developer. So Hurricane Realm just jumped in and said, "So what I miss?" And Jake responds with raccoons. Yes. Welcome to the Renegade Realm Podcast, episode 21, and everyone who's still here, hit the freaking like button, you freakers. Is that going to be the chat call out now? The you freakers? Oh wait, that's copyrighted by Days Gone. PlayStation's going to sue us. Look, thank you for being here, everyone.
cares?
That's the end of the episode. I'm just kidding.
How
No,
can I
so
be of assistance?
ooh.
How can I be of assistance?
Yes. Vasco, you can do it all to me, baby. Oh my god.
No, that's Fisto.
Fisto? That wasn't Vasco?
No, Fisto can do it all to you.
Oh, okay, so you got Fisto.
No,
and
I'm
Vasco.
gonna
One's
wake
got a
Vasco so he
vasectomy.
can do it
Oh,
all to me.
Do you know Fisto?
Of course I know Fisto.
You know who's Fisto?
Mass Effect.
What? Did I miss something?
It's Star Wars, of course. Fisto.
That one's tolerable. I'll tolerate that answer. A bit better than Mass Effect.
Wolf is not a true Fallout fan.
No, yeah, Fisto. The
Clearly.
Fisted. He's
Which
got the,
Fallout,
he got the fist,
though?
he got the fist attachment.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll admit I'm more of a fan of
What
Skyrim
is
than
Fisto?
Fallout.
Like, what is Fisto? Like, is it a person? Is it a robot? And what
It's a
game is it
robot.
from?
From what game?
From
From
Fallout.
what game?
Which one?
Fallout.
Which one?
Fallout
New Vegas?
New Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
you
give
said
him-
it! No, he was gonna say 3! I heard it coming out of his mouth.
Nope.
The New
Nope.
Vegas.
I said
All
it.
right, where'd you meet Fisto? Where'd you meet him?
In the desert, of course.
No.
What do you mean?
Kind of, but no.
You meet
I just
Fisto in
confused the fuck out of it.
in the New Vegas area where the casinos are, underground. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you," and you're like, "No." Wait, no, I'm getting the other robot confused. No, never mind.
Hey, tell me the story of Eric the Slayer.
So Eric the Slayer was a Nordic.
Alright.
Wolf's
We'll have to learn about that in next week's description, I think.
Yeah. So
See
speaking of bad
everyone,
reviews,
Wolf is not a true Bethesda fan.
look, I know who
He's not,
Fisto was.
no.
I just knew that he was in the game. All right, I just can't remember. Like, where do you meet? No, that's an easy one. Let me see. Where do you? Well, I was gonna say Miel the Lioness. Who's that from? What's that from?
Riften.
Riften, Skyrim. She hangs
Riften.
out next to the.
She lost
Aaron-
Grimm's
Aaron,
blade in like that dwarven ruin.
What was her friend's name?
Wasn't it
It's
Aaron?
not a friend. It's like
Yeah,
a simp.
It is Aaron now.
She lives in his house.
Yeah.
If you
nice
marry
try.
her, he follows you.
Yeah,
Like, and I
he is
just-
like not
I just
okay
killed
with
him.
that.
Wasn't it-
Yeah,
His name starts with an A, right? Isn't it?
it's AA Ron.
R something.
R something.
R.
I thought it was Aaron,
I need to go back and
I
play
thought it was
Skyrim
Aaron
again.
too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
but it was like AIREN.
It's literally the guy where you
Hey,
can
Ron.
be like, steal your girl. Steal
You're
your
like,
girl.
she's my best friend. And you're like,
No, because apparently, like, the story. We're going off topic.
Yeah, was there another subjects? Was there any other topics?
Listen,
No, we're
I
going
love
off
going
topic.
Listen, let me just tell for anyone watching this and they're curious about what the fuck is going on. I'm glad you feel that way. Listen, this is not the type of show where we stay on topic all the time. We're gonna go off topic, and that's just fine. You're here to hang out with us. We're here to hang out with you, and we want to know how you feel. What your feelings are right now. I always ask someone to, if they got this far into the show, to hashtag something. No one's ever done it. Let's see if you'll do it this time. Hashtag raccoons. If you got this far into the show, that'd be sick. Thank you for being here. So, speaking of bad reviews, let's go into the good reviews, okay? Let's go into the happy side of life. We're talking about the Diablo 4 and Street Fighter 6 reviews, except if you're on PlayStation, for some fucking reason, Street Fighter 6 got an 89 on Xbox, and on PlayStation it got a 92 because there's no media bias there whatsoever. Shout out to Risky.
It's the same game.
It's the same fucking game. So, by the way, and before anyone says, but what about performance? But look, the reviews say nothing about the performance deviation whatsoever on either side.
I mean, the demo came out. The demo was
Have you
pretty
read them all?
solid from what I seen.
Yes, I have read them all. All 5 of them.
You read all 94 of them?
94 of them.
Yeah,
just
clearly.
kidding.
You can see by
I'm just
Red's
kidding,
face
but
that
it
he
confused him.
Yeah, I thought there was like just a couple.
clearly
Anyway.
read
No.
So Diablo 4 and Street Fighter 6 got great reviews. And Assassin, you're the one. You're the man with this. You're the man. And I know that DeMarco, you're probably. Well, look, I'm not gonna make any assumptions. You guys are very excited about Diablo. I know that. Let's get Street Fighter out of the way.
What's a
Street
Diablo?
Fighter. It's
Oh, is it that Boomer franchise?
It's a boomer franchise, yeah, and it means Satan
You mean like Elder
in
Scrolls?
Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, that Boomer millennial stuff. I only play Final Fantasy
Fallout.
14. Final Fantasy 14 is the only game you should play, but when Starfield comes out, you should only play Starfield.
Yeah.
Before we talk about this, I'm just gonna say when I play Starfield, my first character is gonna be named Alex, after that one man who passed away from cancer.
Oh, Alex, hey, yeah.
Because
He
he
am
wanted to
sad.
live long enough to play that game, to play Starfield, and I'm just like, bro, I'm gonna name my character after you, and you're gonna go with me on a journey across the stars.
A lot of people are gonna name their ships
And
that.
so many people, yeah.
Yeah.
What I find the saddest part about this is he died shortly after posting that, but
Yeah, like 2
the
weeks later.
community wasn't informed until recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
dude's
because
been dead
Games
for a
Radar
while.
wanted to weaponize. I'm gonna start.
I mean, we
That's
know
something that I didn't wanna
Bethesda
say on
likes
your
to
show,
honor
but-
their fans,
There was,
especially those with.
I think
cancer, so.
Bethesda would have let him play the game early if they had time, but they didn't have time. Like 2 weeks is not enough to plan. But they are
trip.
aware, and they're likely going to do something in his honor, like Eric the Slayer or that guy from Nuka World in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Immortalized forever. He'll get to play
It would be
Starfield.
great
Shirley
if
Curry,
somehow-
baby.
It'd be great if somehow if you named your character Alex, and they make a character based on Alex for Starfield.
You get like a buff or something
and you
like
both
that.
have the same. No, like a special, like very rare dialogue, and be like, "My name's Alex," and he'd be like, "Oh, my name's Alex too." What a coincidence!
Yo, no way,
That's
we're
the thing.
practically twins.
and it's that character. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
and it's your character.
Don't make me sad.
Anyway,
So
Street Fighter
hey,
6.
look, Street Fighter 6. Anyone interested in this game at all? And if you're not, it's okay.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm actually for the first time. I'll touch on this really quick. I love when games go out of their way to add different elements to the game. I'll just say, in this instance, social elements to the game. That allow you to be more interactive with a game that is very linear, such as a 2D fighter. So I think that they did this. They did this really well.
I
in,
think
like, the
2D is
Naruto games.
underselling it.
It is underselling it. I think
Yeah.
it's not. When I say 2D, I just mean a fixed perspective that happens to be from a what's the word for it? Oh my god, I'm a
The
video
Super
artist.
Mario camera angle.
Yeah, 2D, but it's not 2D. It's not two-dimensional. It's not. But you know what I mean. It's a fixed camera
You
perspective
can have a
from
2D game.
Like, you
that's
ever
a
seen
3D
the
art
original
style.
Super Mario in 3D? It's just... I don't. That world is weird. It's just a straight line.
Right. Yeah.
There's-
You know, you're right. I will change. I would not say that anymore because I think 2D is sort of a dated term for that. But a side to side, like whenever you say top down, like Diablo is a top down, whatever. But now you can call it isometric or whatever. Look, the game is a
Isometric, yeah,
fighter-
we're viewing them from the top of their heads. It's like FIFA.
right, like straight down to the top. Yeah.
Or pillars.
Yeah, so anyway, I would say that I'm interested in Street Fighter 6 because there is a social element where you create your own character, you're running around.
Yeah.
It's not just cutscene to fighting, like Mortal Kombat. I
Isn't
think
that
Mortal
a story
Kombat's
mode?
great. Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. So
I-
they added a third person over the shoulder angle. You're gonna.
Oh
play it now.
my fucking
I-
god! Yes, that's exactly why. Yes.
Whoa!
You can't deny
No
it. You
way!
can't deny it.
Yeah,
He,
they did
the
it.
first
An
time the
open
Street
world
Fighter adds
Street
third person
Fighter.
over the shoulder open is when he decides to fucking pick it up and play it. I can't make this shit up.
No, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna get it day one. I'll get it. I'll play it someday maybe. But I'm just saying I'm interested in it.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
got me
now.
intrigued. But
You
no,
can make some real oily characters on that. Like you can have
Yeah.
full-on shiny skin. Like you've just like you've got the oil. You can make your muscles a bit more prominent. Instead, you've just like jumped into a vat of the oil, and you come out, and you're like, I don't know, you're looking like an 80s porn
You
star.
look like Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us 1 PC port, am I right? Hit that button.
Damn.
Oh.
Don't hit that
No
button.
button was hit. But anyway. So, anyone interested in Street Fighter 6?
I'm still waiting for Street
I
Fighter
am.
X Tekken. Or is it Tekken X Street Fighter?
Yeah, Jake says, I'm not so much into fighting games, but I do have my eye on Mortal Kombat 1 and Tekken 8, 9, whichever the new one is.
8.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for
Yes.
that crossover, guys. They did one
Never
of
gonna
them.
happen.
They did one of them and they promised the other. It's been almost 10 years. Where is it? I need to
It's
know.
never gonna happen.
I think games are
not
just
gonna
so beholden to
They
their lore
promised
nowadays.
it. That I deserve to know what happened.
It's why like
Yeah,
we're never gonna get another.
Oh, perfect, Lexi. They promised, but they did not deliver. They should.
I
give
know,
out a
exactly.
response.
They should give us a response.
Give us a response.
It's been 10 years.
There we go. Send an apology letter now. Like we
Yeah,
know
no.
we're 10 years late, but
If it's
Uh,
cancelled, tell us.
so
Exactly.
DeMarco, do you like fighting games? Nope. Perfect.
I do.
Perfect.
I said I do. I do.
Oh, I thought you said nope. I saw you
I-
went nope.
Red is so ingrained to not like any game that's not third person. He just automatically assumes that others
Everyone
don't
else
like it either.
I enjoy fighting games, but I lean towards I'm very select because I'm not good at them, and I don't have the patience to learn all the different ones. So
Okay.
so I will stick to either Mortal Kombat or Injustice because those use the same.
Injustice
Button
1.
inputs.
Injustice 2. Injustice 1.
I
Two's-
actually
two's better.
preferred Injustice. I liked the things that Injustice 2 introduced, but as a whole, I liked Injustice 1 actually
The
better.
story is way better.
It's
I like
Oh,
I
yeah.
like the I like the multiverse stuff.
yeah,
I'm a
it's
sucker
I'll
for
give
the
that.
multiverse.
much
It's-
better story, but so I like fighting games. Street Fighter is not one that I'm gonna be picking up. I'm happy for people who are big fighting game fans, and it's cool that they're getting something they're excited for, but it's not. I don't got
Yeah.
time for that. I ain't got
for
time.
that. Understood. It's fair, Lex.
I only ever got into Mortal Kombat 10, and that was mostly because Predator versus Alien.
Yes. Yes.
Call it stuff, or Jason Voorhees. I thought he was pretty cool for a while.
Leatherface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff. They need a Mortal Kombat Ultimate. Every character that's ever appeared in a Mortal Kombat game in one solid title. Sounds bizarre, and the PlayStation would get Kratos exclusively, but I mean,
Hey, Xbox will get Master Chief exclusively.
exactly, yeah. So it's like a win-win. And on PC, you could get both for crossplay. You know, like in Fortnite, how you can get the PlayStation skins and then go and get the Nintendo skins. on one account. Like, wow.
I'm just waiting for Master Chief and the Doom guy to go head on, so everyone can shut the hell up. Even though the Doom guy would probably
I think
destroy
Microsoft, after the Activision deal, should make their own Smash Bros. I've said this for a long time. They have so many characters now. They could make their own Smash Bros.
They could, but will they?
They could make it unique. Stop making I thought Multiverses was great until I realized that it was broken when I went online. I was so upset. I stopped playing it. I was so upset because I love that game.
Sony had their own Smash Bros for a while, but they kind of ruined it.
All-Stars Battle Royale, yeah.
They just didn't do anything with it. They made a Vita game, and that was pretty much it. Like,
that was around the
Microsoft.
Time they went to third person over the shoulder game.
You could fit like 80 characters in a Microsoft version.
Oh yeah.
Like Microsoft, anyone from Microsoft, like you want me to write a story for that, I would do that. I would make you the Microsoft multiverse for free.
Lex just gets a DM immediately. He's like, I gotta go.
Hi, I represent a new studio at Xbox. We'd love to make this game. Bill Gates is like on board. He's like come out of retirement. He's taken over.
I mean, Xbox enthusiast Colobrio actually introduced that idea, but have Conquer as the reason why everybody's coming together.
So besides
have it
Street
a mature
Fighter,
game. It has to be a mature game. Like Microsoft's got a bunch of mature titles. Smash Bros. Let's make it look like kiddie stuff.
Just announced it,
let's have the real stuff.
Every character is going to be in this game. Even Banjo? Well, unfortunately, Banjo can't because it's an adult game, and everybody's like,
oh no, screw it. Like, tear off Banjo's head. Like, Banjo,
exactly,
bashes people with his banjo. Kazooie, like, does like a xenomorph through their stomach.
Does Banjo have a banjo?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course he does.
So is Kazooie the bird?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, what?
Why the hell is his name Banjo when he has a banjo? He named himself after an instrument? Or what is his name?
Oh yeah, sure. Like you named yourself Red Wolf.
You son of a fucking bitch.
I can't say your real name because I don't know your real name, but yeah, of course, the baby always decides their name as soon as they
Look, that's not what I meant. Look, his name's like David or something, and he's like, it's not cool. I'll name my instrument. It's a banjo.
Yeah, I don't even know Wolf's real name. I don't even know DeMarco's real name.
I don't either.
I don't know what my own name is.
Okay, let's move on. Assassin, do you like Street Fighter? You want to play it?
Never played a Street Fighter game before, so this is going to be my first time entering the series. Every franchise that I've always wanted to get into, every franchise I'm getting into for some reason is always either having a remake or a new game that is completely accessible to newcomers. It's just like, is there a reason why? But yeah, Street Fighter 6, from what I've seen, it's definitely a game I'm gonna play. Like DeMarco and Lexi, I'm much more familiar with Mortal Kombat. I started with MK9, the reboot, played all the way to
the reboot
11.
for the reboot.
Yes, definitely gonna play Mortal Kombat 1 is it September or October? I think it's October. Yeah, it's October. 5 days before non-physical Alan Wake 2 comes out. But definitely gonna play Street Fighter 6 at launch, just the same as I'm gonna play Mortal Kombat at launch and Tekken 8 at launch. Because unlike some people, I don't limit myself to third-person over-the-shoulder games. Or RPGs.
All right, I've got a question. Do you think it's going to be like Mortal Kombat 9, where the Armageddon game explained the reboot? That was it Raiden? He explained to his past self what was going to happen, and then it prevented it from happening, and that's MK9. Do you think it's going to be like that, or do you think it's going to be a total reboot? Fuck the continuity.
I think Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be like the trailer said. It said it itself. It's going to be in the new era that Fire God Liu Kang started at the end of MK11 Aftermath. I think it's going to explore not only what's new, but the consequences of what Liu Kang has created. I think it's going to do an angle on both narratives, and at the end of it, I think there's definitely going to be some callbacks to the previous reboot timeline and the timeline before that. There's whether it's through character dialogue, or there's gonna be some character skins.
I mean, I was
to
blown
previous
away.
timelines.
I didn't even know there was in Armageddon. I think it's Armageddon. Like they're all battling at this tower, and then Raiden like talks to his past self, and then that's
Yeah,
literally
Raiden,
the
yeah.
start of Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah, I don't think
It's
we're gonna
him
get
being
anything
informed.
like that. I don't think we're gonna get anything
That
like
blew
that.
my
think it's
mind. I
just
was
gonna
like-
be- yeah, I think it's just gonna be Liu Kang just like navigating the new era, as well as the decisions that he had to make. That's different from the old era. I have a feeling he's gonna call it the old era, like the previous reboot timeline, something like that. That's what I think Mortal Kombat's gonna be. Liu Kang, there is consequences to being a god and deciding people's destinies. Hope you're up for it, bro.
Your destiny is to be the milkman.
I love that. Yes.
Ah, yes, Shang
but
Tsung is the milkman.
You don't deliver the milk. You've got to
That's why he
milk.
kills everybody in the trailer.
You've got to milk them. You've got to milk them men.
Yes,
That
you
sounds wrong.
No, that's that's Mortal Kombat, baby. That's brutal. That's brutality. And then it's just not. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
going back to
I mean,
Going back to
Wolf,
Street Fighter
Wolf looks
6.
ready to milk. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, I'm ready to be milked.
Go-
I'm ready to milk. I am milk.
Look
Want to
at- look
find
at
out more
those-
about this? Hit
Yeah.
the subscribe button. We'll get to 100, and I'll show you my milk.
yeah,
You turn it into
yeah.
cheese.
Street Fighter 6 is definitely going to be a day one game for me.
Okay. So what about Diablo 4, DeMarco?
It's looking good.
Good.
He doesn't care.
No, Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is entering the ranks. We've talked about bad games. Now we get to talk about good games. Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4 is officially scoring pretty much around the board. 9s out of 10s, 10s out of 10s, 8 out of 10s. It's really quite unanimous, the reviews for Diablo 4. With people saying it's one of the best Diablo games that has ever been released so far. That Blizzard was able to completely turn themselves around for the better
yeah,
and make an absolutely stellar experience. And this is kind of this is a good direction for Blizzard to be moving in. Currently sitting at a 92 Metascore based on 11 critic reviews. Eurogamer Germany gave it a 100. Games Radar gave it 100. Comicbook.com 90. IGN 90. Pure Xbox 90. CD Action 90. So
yep.
all in all, looking good. It's stuck right in between. Again, very limited amount of reviews. 11 is not that much. Not that much at all. There's still a lot more feedback that's going to get put into place, but currently sitting between The Witcher 3 and Resident Evil 4 as far as Xbox. And this is looking at the Xbox Series X Metascore. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
looking good.
Yeah, Street Fighter
there's-
6 and Diablo 4 being continuously touted by the media as Game of the Year contenders. Add that to the list of 10 Game of the Year contenders we already have, and the upcoming 20 we're gonna get.
Jedi
Yeah,
Survivor.
and it amazes me that this year has been filled with either like really great games or not so great games, and there's really not been a lot of games that are just kind of like, yeah, this one's good. Maybe Atomic Heart released in 2023, so maybe that would be it.
Well, long.
Until you said that, I completely forgot that existed.
Yeah, maybe that would be like, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that's like the middle game. It's like here's the average game. But there's been a lot of extremes in 2023, and we still have a lot more to come. But I'm happy that it seems Blizzard is capable, because Blizzard, as we know, has a very shaky reputation at present, because
yes.
things like don't you all have phones? Don't you all have phones?
Yeah.
that-
Breast milk.
Oh
Do
my
you guys
God.
not have phones?
You guys all have smartphones.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, do you know how phones?" He like backed him up, like, "Yeah, bro."
So,
Yeah, Blizzard's back.
Like,
Blizzard's back, and Capcom
I'm-
just keeps on going.
I'm sorry. Activision forced you to make this mobile game, but don't insult us as gamers, please.
yeah, so
Who would willingly make a mobile game? That's like
Red.
anyone could make.
Fallout Shelter was
Anyone can
Fallout
make
Shelter.
a mobile game because it's literally free game, predatory
Flappy Bird.
microtransactions, except
Yeah.
Fallout Shelter. Although
Fallout Shelter.
they do tempt you with those lunchboxes because I played it for a while, and let me just say those lunchboxes are very tempting because you're like, oh, I can get a legendary hero. Ooh.
Yeah, so Diablo 4 is looking good, which is great to hear. I am interested in picking it up. I probably won't. It's a game that I would wait for sale because there's so many other things that I want to try. But I would be down to jump into this one to give a little to dip a toe.
Can we expect
in the fires
a full?
in the fires of Diablo's hell?
Can we expect a full
Dip a toe
review?
into Diablo's lava.
What's up?
Just dip a toe into the lava. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Just try. Just embrace hell a little bit. You know, give it a sample.
Yeah, you know.
Do you think you'll do a
Arcade?
review?
Will I do a review of Diablo? No. I'm not into.
Oh hell,
Literally,
Doesn't have
I'm not
7,000
into.
hours to review a game.
that's like 80 hours worth of review. Just the campaign is what they said. 80 hours.
Yeah, I killed a
Another
bunch of guys
100
and
just
a
to complete the
bunch of
battle
stuff, and I
pass.
hacked away, and I hacked, and I leveled up, and I punched and killed, and good game, good game, do good. That's the review.
You know,
There were
I would
some-
love to review Starfield, like post-launch.
Everybody would.
Oh, like you played
What
out
would
for
you
2
like,
months. and
Demarco?
doing
What
it,
would you
but
both do if you woke up to an email from Bethesda saying we want you to review the game?
I would be
Oh my
like,
God.
holy fuck! I get to play the game before every other fan.
I would literally take off my hat.
No,
You
I
ever
wouldn't be
cry
like that.
because he wasn't even asked.
No, I would honestly. NDAs suck in the extent you want to talk about it. Like I want to talk about my dev stuff, but I can't. If you got to play Starfield early and you joined in speculation like I do, what do you say? You just can't participate because you might slip.
Yeah, you
But
just can't say
Ja-
anything.
Yeah.
Look, okay, do you guys remember the Ham Radio podcast? Speaking of Mr. Matty,
Oh,
Lone
that's
Vault
a classic.
Wanderer. Lone Vault Wanderer was a part of his show for
long
as
time
long
ago.
as, and he had been playing Fallout 4 for weeks, and they just had to keep going on with that podcast like nothing happened, and Maddie knew nothing about Lone playing that game. So Maddie would say, "So what do you think about this, Lone?" He'd be like, "Right, so not really sure about how this is going to work, but you know what I would like to see," and he would give all of his opinions, and he was playing the fucking game the whole time, and it was a whole thing that they were like so mad at each other, like in a fun way afterwards. So that would be tough.
I mean, it would be. I mean, it's easy and hard to keep it a secret. It's like I'm good at hiding NDAs since I've become a developer. I'm very, very good at this. I think I'm good at this. But it's just heartbreaking because you're like, I want to talk to someone about this,
right.
but I can't
then it's
talk
like-
about this.
Yeah. At the same time, for
I
me, it's
would-
like when Starfield comes out, I don't want to talk. Like, I want to talk to people. Like, we're all going to be playing the show. We're obviously going to be playing it. It's in some capacity. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to know anything. Also, like, so I'll jump on the podcast and. Obviously, we've all been playing Starfield. This is the Starfield Renegade podcast. This is all we're going to be talking about the whole
Starfield Renegade.
show. Like, well, just for that week because, like, launch week. But I don't want to know everything. Honestly, like, I don't want to know that DeMarco found something really cool, and like, I want to discover that for myself. So it's like it's going to be so hard.
It's pretty much shut yourself on. When Starfield comes out, what I recommend is everyone shuts themselves on the internet because Twitter is going to be
Yes.
a spoiler haven.
Yeah. They're gonna
Even
be
if
like,
you get those filters,
PlayStation. Yeah. PlayStation.
even if you
there's
get
aliens
those
in the game.
filters,
Like, shut the fuck. Yeah.
like so let's say one of us got to review early, like you would be so far ahead that you might be able to beat the main story. Say if it's like you get up to a week, because it's such a big game, you need extended amount of time to play.
Hey,
Like-
just to reiterate something, or just to point something out, the release date for Starfield is September 6th, right?
Yep.
Red, we have a podcast. Our podcast is literally the day before.
I know.
Comes out on the
I've said
Wednesday.
this before. It's coming out that night. So our show, it'll be, and then the game comes out at midnight. Essentially, is what's gonna happen.
Well, midnight.
Well,
It-
11 o'clock for some people.
I don't think it's going to be like Fallout 4. Fallout 4, it was midnight in your time zone, so Australians were playing it a day early. I was upset about that because I was in college and I was watching people streaming, and I was like, I was
Worldwide
16-year-old.
launch. Has Bethesda
but-
said that it's going to launch simultaneously worldwide? Have they said that?
It's probably going to be on. That's how they do it these days, because it stops people playing it early by changing their time
Because if
zone.
Brisket is playing it before me, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah, it stops all that, so like only people they've authorized to play it early can play it early.
Nice.
And I think on Steam, at least, there's a special code that will grant you access to play early. It will be like a review code or something. And Xbox, I think the developers have to unlock your I don't know, something like that. You've got to unlock your Xbox.
I'll tell you what, if Capcom sends me a review code, like in 10 years from now for a Resident Evil game, I'm going to cry. I'm going to be like so fucking happy. I'm just going to be like, I get to play this early, and then I'm probably going to appear on someone else's podcast by that time, if I change as a person. And then I won't be able to say a goddamn thing like, yeah, I think this game's going to be okay. Give or take.
But like, yeah, I mean, if it's go by in like past titles, yeah, I think it's going to be great. Or that new like you've just got to distract yourself from the main topic. They're talking about one thing, and you are trying to distract your mind, so you don't say anything.
Yeah, Red, how would you feel if you got a review code from
I'd die.
CD
I'd be
Projekt
dead.
Red for The Witcher 4?
I'd be dead.
DeMarco, what about you if you got a review code for Elder Scrolls 6?
I don't like to be brutally honest. I don't like to think about it.
Just saying. How would you feel?
I mean, I'd be
It's just a hypothetical.
of course I'd be ecstatic. I'd be through the
Yeah.
moon. But I mean, listen, I'm gonna sound like a
Don't bring
prick.
realism into this podcast.
It's like a fucking dickhead. Let's go.
No, I'm gonna sound like a prick, but like I'm just trying to focus on like what I'm doing now, and obviously I'm keeping my mind open to those opportunities, and I'm excited, and I would love to have those chances, but I don't want to fixate on like, because I think that can kind of breed the wrong mentality of why am I making content.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not that's not at all what I thought you were gonna say. That's 100% understandable, and I actually agree with you. I do not want to
Right.
take away from what's happening right now. I would much rather be in the moment, and Bethesda,
So,
by the way, you can still send
yeah,
me a
I
code.
mean,
but
like
yeah,
my channel's been kind of stuttering lately because I've been doing so many different, like, YouTube very clearly wants you to do one thing.
Yeah.
It's very evident that's what it wants. My video on The Witcher 4 is ranking for people who search Starfield. Like, I see in my analytics what search terms the video is showing up for, and it's like Witcher 4, Starfield. It's like, well, yeah, they're both RPG, but like, what? Why?
It's similar on Twitch. Unless you're a variety streamer from the get-go, as soon as you switch game, you can, like, your career can be over in a day.
Yeah, so
Because
I think that's
peop-
why, I think that's why our podcast is growing pretty fast compared to the others, because they're Xbox they're mainly Xbox, but we're not. We're pretty much everything, right?
Mhm.
Right, Red?
I mean, when you
yes,
look at, like,
that is the case. Yes, we have PC, PlayStation, and Xbox centric people on the show, and look at us go.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
And Nintendo when they come up.
well, it's like Lawfield. Lawfield is a podcast for Starfield. Well, it's going to be a law show, but obviously we can't do that now. That's why Lawfield is how it is on YouTube, at least.
Yeah, so I try not to, because I know that I'll get hooked on this mentality of, well, I gotta get a review code, and I could do this, and I could start doing this, and then that's why I don't have channel memberships turned on my channel, even though I can. I don't, because I don't. So
You don't want it to absorb
That's not the point. That's not the point. And honestly, I'm not in a position where I should be asking anybody for that, because it's not as though I'm providing a service to them where it's like every Wednesday you're getting a video. Like, no, I might miss a Wednesday, so I can't even back myself behind those types of claims. So yeah, I'm not trying to be
As soon as it
about it.
Yeah.
Well, how dare you care about your own well-being?
Everyone's like, I would die if I got a code. I'm like, yeah.
You would die. You would.
But no, I'd be in Elder Scrolls 6. They're like, we're gonna give it. I would lose my mind. I would be so excited, but I just try not to get in that headspace.
Well, look, hey, so let me just ask you guys a quick question here to round out the show. Since we've talked about a lot of different things, now, real quick, we didn't talk about Spider-Man. I don't want to go on this for too long. We're all excited for Spider-Man. I'll just say, I was not okay. I don't have a PS5. I'm trying to get one. I probably won't have one for a very long time, unfortunately, because I did all the research. I'm probably just not gonna have one for a long time. But I was very excited. I don't know, we talked about earlier. I'm trying to get a Spider-Man remastered key for Steam. I'm trying to find a cheap one. So if anyone knows, anyway, I was not okay with the trailer at all. I thought it was I was just not fucking okay with that at all. And I'm sure I'm in the minority. I get it, and people could say, "Well, yeah, Venom's in the game. Of course, you're gonna wear the black suit. Of course, shut up."
Venom is overrated.
I don't want to know anything about it, and they showed so much. Spider-Man did not need to be advertised that way. The game's gonna be bought anyway. I was really not okay with that trailer.
Yeah, I think I can defend it a little bit. You're not gonna. It's not gonna convince you, but I think I could defend the decision for them to show that off. Which is that's the big feature for the game. So
right, 100%.
So that's the biggest. That's the bit. I mean, they showed off the gliding and some of the other like the other stuff too. Which I mean, the Spidey gliding is epic and as all hell.
They show what they need to show with the symbiote suit. Is you get cool new things. Spider-Man isn't limited by, well, in the comics at least, the organic webbing doesn't need recharging. It's organic. And you see the personality shift in Peter towards the end because Miles questions that's not how Peter acts. That's what the symbiote does to you. It makes you the worst version of yourself.
Yeah,
if you watch Spider-Man 3, you've got Bully Maguire.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Red. I thought it showed too much. Like they completely foreshadowed to hell and back. Miles and Peter are gonna fight. Like I did an analysis of the trailer, and then even down to like if it wasn't spot on enough just from common sense, the way that the end credits come up and it shows like the Spider-Man 2 and then be greater together or whatever the slogan is, and then you see the symbiote come out and then the electric shock and then it withers back away after.
It's so advertised, and I'm like, dude.
So heavily on the nose.
Here's my prediction. If the game ends in a bell tower, that would be the most the most cliche symbiote story ending. If you've seen Spider-Man 3, that is literally from the comics. That is how Peter loses.
Have you played Midnight Suns?
It's how they did it in Midnight Suns. Well, but that's Venom's kryptonite, so it's hard to they gotta find Midnight Suns did it a bit more creatively, I thought, where they had the speakers that he set up and
so they could even introduce Eddie Brock and then Eddie Brock gets the symbiote because we know spoilers for the first game. So if you've not played the first game.
It's been 5 years, Lexi. If you're gonna get spoiled by now, that's your fault.
They've done the ultimate thing where Venom is no longer an alien. He is a cure for cancer and all diseases. And
in the Ultimate Universe,
he's bonded to Harry Osborn, because Harry Osborn has the Osborn's disease, and I don't know if people will know this, but Harry is the least popular Venom, and I wonder why, because it's Eddie Brock. And I think Spider-Man 2 will end the way it did in the comics. Spider-Man gets rid of the symbiote, and then he just drips on Eddie Brock. If you've seen Spider-Man 3,
my prediction was that it was going to end up with.
I don't know why I was talking like that.
I like that a lot.
Effect.
I love
My prediction was that it was going to end up with Harry because, he it's been done before, but I think that maybe Insomniac's going to say, yeah, but we'll do it better. And so that's where I thought it was going to head to. Because
I think
Harry
that's where it's
Osborn,
gonna go because Eddie's not been introduced in either of the games. He's not mentioned. He's not.
that's why I don't think they're going to throw him in.
Yeah, that's like all of a sudden introducing Gwen Stacy into Spider-Man 2 with no background at all. Like she's not even mentioned in the previous games.
Yeah,
I bet
I don't like the
there's
Harry
probably an Easter
angle
egg
either, but
Eddie Brock
it's gonna happen
in the first one. I don't remember enough, but I'm assuming there's some Easter egg to Eddie Brock. But
yeah,
I do think
there
that
is.
I think he's gonna be
okay,
the
there you
final
go. So
boss.
he's at least mentioned.
It's
Then
the papers and stuff, if you remember.
I would be amazed. My overall prediction is that symbiote's gonna go to Harry Osborn, fight between Peter and Harry, and that's what's gonna bring in Green Goblin afterwards, is because of the conflict between Harry and Peter, and then they could have that emotional moment, and they could build up to that emotional moment, because you see the whole reason in the trailer that he's like hell-bent on getting Dr. Connors is because he needs the cure, or he knows how to help Harry, so that they're building that bond. So then you're going to see them come to a head, and then they're going to have a fight. So you could have the emotional moments that you had tied the same way with Doc Ock and Peter in the first game. And then it's going to bring in Norman Osborn as Green Goblin. And because now you've had the fight between Harry dies. Now Green Goblin. Yes.
Okay.
I have to say this. I'm sorry. Wait, Lex. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this because I'm going
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
That's all I have to say about Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. What if this is how I'd be okay with the marketing that they showed. This has happened before where they show a whole bunch of shit and everything's crazy and insane, and then that just happens to be like the first 3 hours of the game.
That's what I think. It's gonna really be. They're gonna. Right. I think they're gonna let you have the symbiote suit longer, but that's not the story. The story is not.
That's not the story, and I feel like what could happen, to your point, as a sort of mixing it up a little bit, if they were to take the Harry aspect of it, Harry Osborn, and the symbiote suit is, if the symbiote suit gets ripped away from him, Harry's going to die, right? So what if something happens to Harry and that symbiote suit goes away, Harry dies, Eddie Brock gets it. Now Eddie Brock's completely out of control, but not in a insane kind of way. It's just the typical Eddie Brock, I'm trying to control this. Now Spider-Man has a part of the symbiote because if you guys know, and we're all Spider-Man fans, so yes, when Spider-Man has a suit, he's not Venom. He has a part of the symbiote. So it's Venom, it's symbiote Spider-Man versus Venom. So if Harry is dead and now Eddie is alive as Venom, Peter with the symbiote suit is going to be fucking pissed, ×2, trying to kill Venom. And that's why Miles is bro, I'm sorry about your friend, but dude, we gotta take this thing out. And he's I'm gonna fucking kill this cocksucker. And Peter Parker. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be kind of cool to have some tragedy, some darkness?
Oh, there will be. There will be. And I'm just gonna give my 2 cents.
I'll play it in 10
there's
years
not
or whatever.
There's not gonna be an Eddie Brock. There's not gonna be.
Oh, don't say that.
There's not gonna be. There's not gonna be any friendship. There's not gonna be any relationship. Eddie's just gonna be.
That would be the worst.
He's just not gonna be there. He's not.
That's gonna be the worst Venom story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be.
I think tagline. It says
you can't have Venom without Eddie.
I mean,
you can just do it differently. You could do it Harry Osborn.
Yes.
Like we've been saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's separating
Eddie...
Carnage from Cletus Cassidy. It's just that
they've done that before too. Anyway.
Yeah, it's been done before.
But not for long.
No, because they always go back to kind of their favorites.
They kind of
their fan favorites. I'm not arguing that Eddie Brock isn't the fan favorite for Venom. Of course that's
but for Insomniac's story,
I think Insomniac's exactly
Eddie.
Insomniac's universe.
Because if that was the case, they would have introduced him in the first game. They did not. They relegated him to a birthday card from the Daily Bugle with Betty Brant and J. Jonah Jameson as an Easter egg. That's it. That's all they're gonna acknowledge Eddie. And you guys are talking about Peter and the symbiote's bond with Eddie and Harry, but anybody who's read the comics and y'all completely forgot Miles is connected to the symbiote too, because in the Ultimate Universe where Miles came from, Venom kills his mother.
I don't know if Miles is established, and the reason why I'm not suggesting Miles
he
is
is.
because I think he's established because I mean he had his own standalone game, so maybe that's not the best way to phrase it. But I think that his role is integral to just bringing Peter back. So I don't.
Not if Venom kills his mother, it'll cause Peter and Miles to fight. It'll really test their bond.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah,
Peter
okay.
accidentally kills Rio, Miles' mom, by accident because of the symbiote, Miles is gonna be completely conflicted. Like, dude, you killed my mom, but you're not in control of yourself. It's gonna be a hard fight if you're playing as Miles at that point. And that's not including if Peter has to fight Harry, if Harry reabsorbs the symbiote back from Peter. Because Miles knows what the symbiote does after that, Peter knows what it does after that, and Harry was probably thinking, this symbiote's going to be the only way that I can live. But I don't think Peter and Miles are going to be willing to let it go. But I do agree with you guys that Harry is going to die, and that's going to give Earth to Green Goblin for Spider-Man 3, like, later down the line.
Okay, I'm sorry to okay, I'm gonna flex my comment.
Flex.
Harry dies. Norman gets a split personality. He's a bit cranky, pissed off, and that's when the Goblin persona kicks in and like commands him to do shit. He's like, I hate society. Like we've
Norman
seen,
hasn't
he's
experimented on himself yet, but Harry dying would give him cause to do so. Like maybe
Oh,
he
yeah.
wants revenge on Peter and Miles.
It would break her. It breaks any parent. But the thing is, Norman has the resources, and when he's working on this flight technology, he's going to go insane. At some point,
They've
they've established
villainous traits.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think the post-credit scene is going to be the aftermath of a clock tower, of the bell tower, where Peter debonded from the symbiote. It looks fine. Battle's over. Venom defeated. But
What
then
if they symbiote him in a karaoke bar?
I just think like Insomniac love to
Too
reference.
tired
the
for
comics.
this.
Yeah.
But I
Karaoke
think the
bar.
post-credit scene is going to be symbiote bonding with Eddie. I think that's just going to be a post-credit scene, if anything.
You already have Peter and Miles, and then Harry and Norman. How are you going to introduce Eddie in this chaos?
Well,
not to mention the villains like Kraven.
I think
Like how?
Eddie doesn't have to be a main character. Like you can just all you need to establish is why does Eddie hate Peter? Because that's important. All you've got to do is establish, does Peter do something in this game where Eddie Brock is like, fuck you, Spider-Man? Like, because that's what makes Venom work so much, is Eddie hates Spider-Man so much, and Venom wants to be with Spider-Man again. Like, they're symbiotic. Perfect. That's the symbiote.
Lexi, I'm not entirely sure how. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna oppose to Eddie being introduced, but with so much stuff going on, and I'm
These
not sure.
goofballs.
I mean,
nerding
why?
out.
Why?
Goofy.
I mean, why introduce the Venom symbiote
Goofy
again
goobers.
with Eddie?
so silly.
If we're all right and Green Goblin's gonna be the main villain of the third game, why rehash what happened with the Venom symbiote in the third game? That makes no sense.
I think, look, Venom's super popular, and I think
You just said he was overrated.
he is overrated. But he's popular,
overrated.
so he's overrated.
Popular is over. Yeah.
Yeah, like The Witcher and Mass Effect.
Okay. Well, look, you know what? Let's change the subject. Listen.
I'm just kidding.
Honestly,
I'm just kidding. I actually like Mass Effect.
I know.
I
I
just
actually
I just
like
wanted to get
Mass
under
Effect.
Red Skin.
No, I know it's fine. Look, Lex, I'm sorry. Did you have? Listen, let's get the hell out of here. Is there any
Yeah.
closing thoughts about? We're all excited for Spider-Man, right? And we're all going to be playing it on day one, right?
Well, I mean,
Well,
if it
we
came
are,
to
but-
PC day one,
I'm not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Lex and I can't play it.
exactly.
Um,
I'm gonna have to
I think I'm gonna be the
I'm
only one
gonna
playing at launch, except for Mac.
I will be DeMarco. Yeah, he's.
I will go to my local retailer and I will play the game on their demo PlayStation console.
Well,
Like
I if you can, please. I really want to play it.
And
Yeah.
at some
Anyway.
point, I will unlock the case and take the PS5 away. I'm joking. Yeah, don't do that. I mean, you'd probably get kicked out before you did that, but
Yeah.
unless you walked in with a hammer, smashed it, and then immediately took the PlayStation without the power cable. And do you know, I get off topic.
No, I love
This
this.
is-
I love this. This is literally the way that it should. This is the way, as they say. Yeah, I'm
you
sorry to
know
cut it
that?
off, but look, I've had a great time. Lex, thank you so much for coming. This
You should
was-
invite me to more Marvel debates. I love Marvel debates. I, could
I
talk
know
about
you
Marvel
were
all
like
day.
a Marvel, like you.
It's
can't
all
be-
thanks to the MCU. I love Phase 4. Say what you want about Phase 4. They're trying to establish a new tone. That's why it's all
this is
over
a
the
great
place.
next week conversation.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
Lex
yeah.
was like, speaking of which,
See, this
we
is
gotta-
why you bring me on the show.
Yeah,
Speaking of-
I love it. But okay, Lex, play Midnight Suns. Play Midnight Suns. It's on PC.
Okay.
Okay.
Midnight
You won't
Suns or
regret-
Midnight Suns?
Midnight Suns like the sun.
Because it's always
sky.
spelled differently.
Yeah, Midnight
Play
Suns.
Midnight
like,
Suns at midnight on
SUNS.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Basically a
Um,
Starfield prequel.
It
Oh, it's a Starfield. Okay, oh yeah.
It's a
I'll-
Starfield
I'll-
prequel.
I'm going to buy that right
Basically a
now.
Starfield prequel.
yes, it's amazing.
Okay.
So Lex, where can people find you? What are you gonna be doing? Tell us about your adventures of life.
I just play Final Fantasy 14. We do the Lawfield podcast, or there may be a new episode coming out soon. We've already had one, but
Ooh.
there might be another one on the way. You can check Lawfield. The subreddit is the Law subreddit for Starfield, so that's more of its own thing. But we do tweets on Twitter, LawfieldNet, and we have a Discord. You can find that on our channel, which is at Lawfield, or just youtube.com/Lawfield. Or if you want to find me on Twitter, I am under Dwemerologist.
Love that handle. So good. You grabbed it just in time. Yes, and so an interview was just posted with Starfield Signal. The team with those people. That was an amazing experience. On my end, it was not, but that's a whole other. It was a great time meeting them. For me, my whole world was falling apart technically with technology and stuff. And so the next episode of the Lorefield podcast is dropping soon. Yeah. The pre-show.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah. And who will that feature? Can you spoil that or?
That will feature Damoko Dude and Blue Wolf.
I never heard of them, but I'm really
Me
excited.
neither.
Yeah, really.
Sound like a bunch of
Especially-
goofballs.
It's a bunch of goofy goobers.
Goofy goobers. I just love that. I love goofballs. It's a great
Goofballs.
word.
great group of guys. Assassin. So are you going to be hooked into the web of shadows this week, stuck with Spider-Man, or are you going to jump back into the
How dare
massively
you
effective
reference that.
RPG? Oh, listen, I know. It's my favorite Spider-Man game. Go ahead, Assassin. Where you going to be? Where you going to be? Good. All right. Well, DeMarco, we'll come back to
Yes.
Assassin. Yep. So what you gonna be
Check-
doing? Where can people find
Check
you? You've been
check me out for some Starfield stuff that's gonna be coming leading up to the reveal. I've been doing some other games, but gotta come back home eventually to do some Starfield videos because I know that's what my bread and butter is. At DeMarco Dude on Twitter and on YouTube.
Nice, dude. Check out his videos on the things that we just talked about, especially Starfield, of course, obviously your bread and butter, and the newest huge breakdown, 32 minutes of the Spider-Man breakdown, right?
Oh God, I have no idea. It
Dude.
3110 exactly.
Yeah.
3110. If you want to break down a Spider-Man, I have
That is something I could watch in the bath.
There you
Perfect.
go. Okay.
That's exactly the kind of place you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, like, do
the
you
only
know how
Watch me-
annoying
watch
it
me
is?
watch me in the bath. Watch me in the.
Do you know
watch
how
me in the
annoying
tub.
that is to like scroll through your home feed to try and find a video longer than 30 minutes? Your bath is
Yeah.
cold by the time you get in
Okay.
because you're finding a video so long that you'll be done before it finishes.
Yeah, if you need a good, or you could do my reviews. My reviews typically end up around 25 to 30 minutes as well, so you could check out one of those.
There you go.
I have a whole playlist. If you need a lot, I have a whole playlist of reviews and analysis videos. All my analysis videos usually end up around 25-30 minutes. So you just turn that playlist on and go. Have a good
There
time.
you go, baby.
Fall asleep to it.
Fall asleep in the bath. Bad idea.
Right. Especially when you have a toaster. You're trying to make toast while you're in the bath.
Yeah, don't blow dry your hair either.
Thankfully, we don't have plug sockets in our kitchens. Not kitchens, bathrooms.
Jesus.
The UK.
Yeah, I don't-
right.
yeah.
Jesus.
No one else.
Why do some Americans
Assassin.
have plug sockets like that?
I don't know. America. Suicide is a fun.
And your plug
Assassin.
sockets are lethal.
Assassin.
Assassin. You want to tell us about
Assassin.
yourself?
I'm just gonna be playing
Okay,
Spiderman,
great.
and that's it. I really gotta go. Well, I'll talk to y'all later.
I love you, bro. All right, listen. And I am trying to get this shit ready to end the video. And I'm your host, Red Wolf. You can find me at Red Wolf Renegade on Twitter and on YouTube. The only Red Wolf Renegade on Twitter and on YouTube. And yes, I got my handle.
On
no, wait.
YouTube,
Lex is,
yeah, right.
yeah, Lex corrected me. I am the only Red Wolf Renegade on Twitter. So look at me go. Way to get my handle. Other than
But
that,
not on
you can
YouTube.
expect
You've got a bunch of numbers. You need like a unique, like real Red Wolf
The
Renegade.
real
or
Red
Red
Wolf
Gold, Red
Renegade.
Red Wolf, Red Wolf
Yes.
Renegade.
Yes, the
Um,
real Red Wolf Renegade Remrar. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll all get there together. We can do this. Hold my hand as we take each other away. Take me. Take my hand. Goodbye, everyone.
Is Blue Wolf like a vigilante alter ego?
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking.